The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
All righty, everybody. It's Halloween. It's 2022. It's 8:05. We are here. Gentlemen, Krellbar, how are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Jerry, how you doing today?
Fantastic.
Joe, what's going on with you today?
Exhausted, but glad to be here. And I just realized before we started the show, today I'm 17 months sober.
Congratulations, Joe.
Nice job.
Nothing
Joe's
but
been-
lemonade.
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 Hey now.
That
Black
cool.
cats on Halloween.
So I have been, as I've been talking about pumping up my saturated fats, I got to tell you, last night I had a meal at 7 o'clock, 2 Wendy's hamburger patties with cheese. That was it. I wasn't hungry the whole night. It was fantastic. I went to bed at about midnight, not hungry. Before I came on here, I had bacon wrapped with turkey breast, wrapped with Swiss cheese. It's just great. I'm telling you, the high fat, there's something to it, folks.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be going full carnivore in December. This month now, coming after today, November, and I feel like I'm a little staticky here. Hold on. Is no bread. No bread for me in November. And I only eat bread once a week, but no bread from now on. We're done.
That's
Bread
easy.
and I are over.
It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, the saturated fats are good.
Mm-hmm.
Really fucking satiating as hell.
What are the saturated fats?
Animal fat. Pork fat, beef fat, butter, anything from meats. So so the other day I went to Market Basket and they were supposed to have beef fat put aside for me. I'm arguing with this guy for a while because he was like, you should have called. I said, I was here the day before. And the guy told me not to call, that I was here. And anyways, they fucked it up. So I walk away. And as I walk away, they have beef suet, which is the higher quality beef fat. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why didn't the asshole just tell me they have it out over here? Like, he wants to give me the cheap fat they're charging 3 cents a pound for. So anyways, it literally took me about 2 hours, and I made some awesome beef tallow, which I cooked my eggs in.
I see.
And it's great. It's just great. What can I say?
Yeah, you know what I started tonight? Because tonight I had bacon in my air fryer.
Yeah. You saved the fat?
I just started a jar tonight because I had an empty jar. I got a strainer that fits right in the top. And right when I'm done, I pour the fat in there.
Yeah. Great. Let me fix this camera. There we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's great.
Halloween. Black cat.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting because I just finished reading this book called The Big Fat Surprise. And in the book, there's a study that was done in the early 2000s that got buried, which was somebody had this thing where they were feeding people like 3,000 calories without carbs, and they were losing weight. And basically, the doctor was saying that it's all hormonal. Everything about weight gain is hormonal. You don't have to count calories if you're not eating carbs. The fat being put on your body is because of insulin. And so you have to stop insulin. So you have to stop the sugar. And that shit just kills your liver anyways. But sugar's the enemy, white flour's the enemy, and seed oils. All seed oils are garbage. Canola, corn oil, it's all garbage. Mm-hmm. So moving along, today I posted a lesson for Tonight's the Night, which I had no idea. I forget the band. They had a song called Today's the Day. And Rod was learning the song and said, I should write a song called Tonight's the Night. And that's how that whole thing came about. But yeah, I'm off all veg, Ed. No veg for me. It's out of my diet. If it grew from the ground, I'm not eating it. Anyways, I have another lesson coming out next Monday. And today I had Angelina for a student and figured out the song that I'm going to do the next 2 weeks. So I thought that was cool. So I'll have lessons keep coming. I know people like the lessons. Some asshole commented on my video the other day. He was like, I don't think your guitar's in tune. So I commented back. I go, tuning's extra.
It was in tune when I bought it.
I got, something you were saying last week about the nut jobs on YouTube. I posted a video on my Instagram, when I changed the bass strings and I realized I didn't have the right length.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that video is getting like 20 views and likes a day. It's like, it's over like 300 and something now. So, and the weird thing is when someone leaves a comment and it's like, problem's been solved, this has been out there for a while, and they attack you. So I got attacked. Don't you effing dare say anything about Ernie Ball's. Like, what do you got, fucking Ernie Ball stock? Fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you. Not only that, you're in my fucking kingdom. Comment deleted. Douchebag blocked. Fuck you.
Right. Yeah, the Giphy. You give him the Giphy. Let me tell you what I love right now is how people are imploding about Twitter. Congratulations to Elon Musk for buying Twitter. He's now fact-checking Biden, which is hilarious. Biden's made some comment on Twitter about how when he took over, gas prices were $5.39. And it was like, fact check, it was $2.37. Anyways, I saw somebody with a great fucking tweet. It said, the media is more angry at Kanye than they were at Jeffrey Epstein. And that goes to show you how fucked up it is, because it's not wrong. Yeah. Anyways, Jerry, did you play this week, or was that a memory that I saw?
No, I haven't been playing guitar out in public lately. No, what was
right.
that? Oh, dude, 7 years ago. I just went to the bar. First of all, the picture of the back of it, I was like, what the fuck was I thinking just posting that? And then, that bar, South of Blues, which I think it was the old Depot or something. Anyhow,
That frozen.
You've been in that room before. But the place lasted like 6-8 months, and that was it. Another rock and roll story.
I'm back.
Oh, okay.
I froze.
That's cool.
I'm watching my internet. It said no internet, disappeared, and then it came right back. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the thing about Facebook is I post quite a bit, like just advertising shit. Like if I post the cigars and I have a cigar group. but I hardly ever see anyone's post, and when it does, it usually flies by fast. So that came by fast to me today. I'm like, wait, what was that with Jerry? Was that a memory or was that a? So I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, the color and everything, it catches your eye. Just keeps my name out there on the guitar, so if somebody does want to call. And hey, can I just randomly shout out to the group? I'm in the market for a Bluetooth speaker with my laptop so I can listen to. Dave, I did some recording yesterday.
Okay.
So coincidentally, and I worked on a track from. So, anyways, I want to listen to stuff and have a Bluetooth speaker. It doesn't necessarily. Well, it'd be kind of cool if it was stereo. But any recommendations?
I like the Wonder Boom.
What?
I like. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I like the Wonder Boom. UA.
I'll go grab mine.
UE, Ultimate Ears. It's called Ultimate Ears Wonder Boom. I like that.
A Wonder Boom.
I actually have a Wonder Boom. I actually have the Boom 3, which is the bigger one. And I think the Wonder Boom sounds better.
Is it stereo? Or is it just a monaural big fat?
I think it's just one, but it does both. Like,
you know what you can get? What I like to use.
Oh, of course.
But you can hook two of them up to be stereo.
Okay. I don't
get a TV soundbar. I use a Vizio soundbar.
For stereo?
Huh.
Yeah, because I'm
actually I'd have to do this and put sunglasses on.
This was $20 on Amazon, and I mean I'm impressed by it. Has a good sound. Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
We'll be monitoring you closely, Grelbar. That's my emperor. That's my Senator my Senator Palpatine.
Wonder Bar, $20.
Wonder Boom.
Wonder Boom.
Oh, excuse me. Wonder Boom.
What's Wonder Bar? Who's that? Vizio?
No, you remember the Wonder Bar? That was the
tremolo system from Washburn.
Washburn, correct.
Yeah. Horrible.
I had
the metal castle. The metal castle on the guitar.
Awful. I used the piss out of that thing though. I had one.
It felt like the whammy bar the movement felt like you were in Marshmallows.
Yes. It was a flutter bar. But
Yeah,
it worked. It worked.
So Joe, I saw Joe. Have you delved into cigar number 2 yet?
No, but I've been dying to. But I apparently the lighter they sent me had enough to light that one cigar.
Yeah, you always got to.
I thought it was full, and the funny thing is, right now on my screen is this other lighter I saw that I like better. I'll show you a link to it. Tell me if you think it's good or not.
If it's a 3 torch, that's all you need.
Yeah, but this thing's got everything. It's got the cutter in it. It's got,
the punch.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It looks like it's got 2 punches and something else, but
it's got a punch and a cutter.
Yeah, I didn't even have the first one I did was a wreck. I wrecked the cigar. I tried to do a V cut with the cooking scissors.
This is a 4-flame. It's good. It's a nice one.
Yeah, it looks nice. Got a 10% coupon, so it's
But you're still gonna need butane.
Yes, I'm gonna get the butane, but the cigar I had the other night, YouTube has everything. So I was like, how do you cut a cigar if you don't have the cigar cutter? And the guy showed that the end of the cigar, the rounded part, they put a cap on that. So if you get there, and that's what I did. I flipped it off with my thumbnail. I would have enjoyed it more, but when I looked down, I was being swarmed by fucking ants.
Right.
So I'm literally smoking and dancing on ants the whole time. But I saw another cigar sampler today. It was like $20 for 10 cigars.
Yeah.
And they got these shorter, fatter ones. I think what they call them, nubs.
That's elite. Now, I would tell you right now, you're not ready for the nub.
Really? Because I don't have the time and patience for the
strong. Oh, they don't burn any shorter.
Oh,
they're a long burn, but the point of the cigar is I like Robustos because they're not the long. You get a smaller 45-minute smoke, but the idea is to relax. So after the show tonight, I'll be smoking a Diesel Whiskey Row Gordo. It's a big cigar, but it's you're supposed to relax. So the point is just to have it to relax. If you can't, in the beginning, you don't have to finish everything down. Smoke till you're done. But the point is that I was making, if I had one, was that's a strong cigar nicotine-wise. And you don't want to get cigar sick. That's why I suggested the first cigar for you to smoke would be the Perdomo Champagne, because I think it's a good flavor cigar, but it's really light, and you got to work up to it. Your body builds a tolerance.
What was that one that I had the other night? Because I couldn't read the damn label. I figured you would know what it was.
I thought you started with the Romeo y Julieta. It was the red label, wasn't it?
I have it over there. I didn't know if I should throw it away or not until you said no.
Yeah, let me see. I think it's the Romeo. I'm pretty sure it's the Romeo and Juliet.
Dave,
yes.
In my casual observation of this cigar dumb that you speak of, everything is like from Latin, right? Like South America type shit.
Oh no, that looks like a Rocky Patel. Let me zoom that in. Hold on 1 second.
It doesn't say RP.
Well, can you tap on the?
There you go.
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's trying to focus.
Yeah. Focus. Keeps going to your face. Tap your finger on the
Tongue's House
label.
Of Cigars. 3D.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Right there. Almost. You're gonna wiggle your finger.
There you go.
There we go.
Right there.
Robusto something.
Looks like it says Ashton, maybe. Hold on.
There, you got to put it in front of your face, Joe. Yeah, magic, right there.
What does that say? I can't read that fucking thing. Is it Ashton? I don't know what the hell it says.
Maybe someone
keep it in front of your face.
I'll take a photo of it with my.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that thing says. The guitar, there was a lot of guys. I know Joe Walsh played guitar on that record, but there's really just an acoustic. So I don't know who it was. There was many guys. Oh, I know. The band was America that did the song Today's the Day. And that he kind of based it off of. Yeah, well, the thing is most of the cigar making came from Cuba.
Okay. So
what happened was when Castro got in, what was that, 61, and that was around the time everybody who was making cigars got land taken away from them, and so they fled. And these are the families that still own the big cigar companies, Oliva, and they're all descendants of these Cuban families.
I think it says Gilberto, Oliva, Nicaragua.
Oliva. Yeah, Nicaragua for sure.
Nicaragua.
And then there's one last thing on the bottom that I can't read.
Okay, that makes sense. So they emanated from Cuba and went to South America, Northern South America, perhaps.
First, they went to Florida.
Oh, okay.
Dominican, Honduras. Now Nicaragua, Ecuador.
Why is that happened?
It's just where the tobacco grows the best.
I see. So that's been an evolution in the past 50, 60 years, trying to find the sweet spot other than Cuba.
Exactly. In fact, the Nicaraguan soil is now really good. I remember when Nicaragua was when they first started moving stuff there in the early 2000s, their cigars were harsh. Not anymore.
Interesting. 20 years later. Yeah.
And the Honduran cigars are really good. I like the Honduran cigars. I mean, I like the Nicaraguan cigars. I had a great Nicaraguan cigar the other day. I mean, I smoke everything. There's some good Cubans. There's some bad Cubans. There's good and bad of everything.
All right. Well, my ultimate question was this: are there any U.S. produced cigars that are any good or even attempted?
Well, they don't grow them all here. The tobacco is grown in South America, except for there's a wrapper called Connecticut, which is grown in Connecticut. It's a light shade tobacco, and it's a little bitter to taste, but it's mild. So a lot of they call it a morning cigar usually with hey Pam, with a light. It's a light cigar. It's a coffee cigar. And that's what he's got. All the ones that Joe's sitting on are basically Connecticut wrapper I think you bought it was like a breakfast blend or something, right?
Yeah, it was a breakfast blend.
Right, which tells you that it's going to be light cigars for coffee, Connecticut wrappers. I had a Connecticut before I started tonight, but I had a Camacho Connecticut, which they put I forget the name of the tobacco in the middle, but it's actually a pretty spicy cigar for a.
Now they still grow cigarette tobacco in North Carolina, right? Do they grow any
they're not growing.
tobacco?
They're not growing cigar tobacco. Cigar tobacco they grow and they took the Connecticut seed, and now there's like Ecuador. They put it in Ecuador, so they grow it in South America too. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Hey, thanks, Elite. Yeah, I mean, it's the funny thing. Whether you're into guitars, cigars, guns, it's all the same shit. Like the nuances that go in, once you know it, it's kind of like everyone has their opinion. Nothing matters.
Yeah, well, I just was kind of curious about supply chain and then domestic production, things of that nature. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rollers and a lot of companies that are based down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But the tobacco is being rolled in like Nicaragua or Honduras or Dominican.
Also, how it's kind of hopscotched,
right,
in the past 50, 60 years.
Right. And they're still using Cuban seed.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the original, and they'll say that like Habano is like a Cuban seed. When you see like Habano, if it says the wrapper's made, like, because there's all these different kinds of wrappers on a cigar, and they all contribute to the flavor quite a bit. So you got Connecticut, which is mild. You got like Corojo, which is more medium, and Criollo, which is like a medium, and Habano, which is a little fuller flavor, which is a Cuban seed tobacco. So, originally came from Cuba. But yeah. And don't forget Cuba Gooding Jr. Thank you very much. Or his father, who sang in the main ingredient.
Yeah.
Okay, so your heart's been broke. You sit around crying.
See, you think about dying?
Well, before you do anything rash,
dig this.
Good one, Brian. The Devil and Miss Jones. Yeah.
Classic.
They really know exactly. They're rolling them too tight.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Jerry, if you ever want to smoke a fantastic cigar, come by sometime. I have some cigars that if you don't even smoke, you're going to be like, oh, this is good.
I got to stay away. I smoked cigarettes before, dude. I quit them fucking 20 some odd years ago. Just no nicotine.
What, cigarettes?
Yeah, cigarettes.
Oh, all right. Cigars, cigarettes.
Fucking bad, dude.
Cigars, cigarettes.
No, thank you. Whiskey, bourbon. I'm your guy.
That's good for you.
Yeah. Well,
those things seem to be a good pairing, right?
Well, people hear them. Yeah.
Bourbon and cigars.
That screwball peanut butter whiskey goes good with cigars.
Yeah, I don't drink.
I'll have to take your word for that one. Yeah.
And Joe doesn't drink. It's a 50% non-drink.
I do in moderation.
Months ago, no.
I drink in moderation. The name of my town is Moderation.
Exactly. Anyways, so we discussed, gentlemen, a list we were going to do tonight. Now that list was, I believe, because for some reason I didn't capture the title of that list, Joe, but I think that list said like top guitar albums, influential guitar albums of all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, hold on. Great question from Speed for Hire, which is a technical question. Dave, do you think a new player should learn scale forms or just concentrate in fretboard memorization? You should memorize the fretboard. And I hate to use the word memorization because you don't really, I don't really have it memorized. It's not like I think about it in that context. If you said to me, 7th fret, 3rd string, I'm going to go D. It's like, I don't think of it like, I'm not trying to memorize it. I have to kind of look I look at the board and I'm like, oh, that's the D. It's more just knowing, but you should know it because then you don't have to worry about scale shapes. If you know you're playing in the key of G and it's E minor, you start on E, you walk your way up with one sharp. It's F sharp. Well, then you know where everything is. So you don't even have to think about scale shapes. That's cool, Elite. Yeah, that's how I started. Someone was smoking a cigar, talking to me at a party, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he was like, I have another one. He pulled it out of his pocket. I said, I'll smoke it. That smells great. And that's what got me started.
Wow.
How old were you?
It was 2006.
Oh.
So, how old was I?
Yeah, it's been around a year since I took it up.
38?
Again. Yeah.
38.
Yep.
Now, I had smoked in 2001. My brother and I smoked a cigar on Sunset at I smoked a Fonseca, which a YouTuber that said a player can play all 12 keys on just 4 frets. That sounds about right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get every note in there.
It's where you start off.
But the thing is, there's so much, like, let me tell you one thing that I hate about YouTube teachers. Here's a couple of guitar tricks. That's not a trick. It's a technique, asshole, not a trick. Like, you want to do a trick, pull a fucking guitar out of your ass. That's a trick. Right? That's a trick. Pull a fucking rabbit out of the fucking pickup. That's a trick. But fucking telling me, here's some guitar tricks, and then sit there and go, watch this. If I bend this note and hit this, yeah, that's not a fucking trick. That's a technique. Yeah. And there's so many people are like, oh, learn these tricks, and this is the one scale you got to know to learn how to play guitar. Bullshit. That's the one scale you want if you want to play that one scale. But, these guys just do anything to get you to rope in and watch. Like just the other day, I'm watching this video, and it's because it said "Mom's stuck in the dryer," and I'm like, what was I doing on Pornhub?
I'm stuck.
I'm like, this isn't YouTube.
It's better.
Exactly.
There's only a handful of guitar players I wouldn't mind seeing getting stuck in a dryer.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways. I just think that it's nuts, like just the shit they spew of how to sound like so-and-so on a budget. That budget better include lessons and only lessons.
But, every now and then you come across someone who's okay and you could pick something up from the video. You think, oh, I never thought about that. That's good. I've never been one for playing everything note for note. Like when I would play songs, like someone would say, you're playing it wrong. That's not how he plays this. That's how I want to fucking play it. If I want to learn it note for fucking note, I'm not having fun. Can I just enjoy myself?
Yeah. I mean, everyone's different. So it's like, you can't please everyone. And so when people yell at me about stuff, I'm like, that's the keyboard part. Yeah. I'm trying to make it sound on acoustic like the song. You don't want to play it? Go watch somewhere else. What am I going to tell you? Elite Combat just says top 2 on his list of Blizzard of Oz and Diary. We just discussed that last week. Which was the better side one? And I think we unanimously said it was Diary.
Yeah.
Dane is not here. By the way, Cheech, I got to point it out to you, man. You are sharp as a whip. There's 4 of us here. There isn't a 5th. And you figured that out.
You got the name right.
Because he always says these questions to me. It's like, you know what? I'm going to start calling Cheech. Change your name on YouTube from now on. You're Flounder. You guys playing cards, right? That's what I feel like. I feel like the guys playing cards in that fraternity. And Cheech walks up and goes, "You guys playing cards?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Yes, Dane is not here tonight. He's with his kids. It's Halloween. They have a
Wait a minute. How old are Dane's kids?
40 and 37.
I was gonna say.
So he takes them trick-or-treating. No, I don't know. I think it's his girlfriend's kids that might be. I don't know. He messaged me and said he's hanging with the kids tonight.
Oh, that's cool. So those little kids. That's cool. Very good.
Yeah, it's Halloween. What am I going to say?
Yeah.
What am I going to say anyway? He wants to do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. I don't care.
You got little kids in your life. You can, have Halloween fun. It's It's awesome.
Right. Look, Rocky, nothing up my sleeve. Let's see. Thunder in the East, Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force. You like Rising Force? I think Alcatraz's first album was the better album.
That album's one of the best.
And Whitesnake, 87, I think Slide It In's a better album. That we got to compare. Slide It In versus 87.
Yeah, the Slide It In is definitely better. The 87 is the one that pushed him over the top, though.
Wait a minute. When Slide It In, what year was that released?
84.
Oh, yeah. That's the one. You're going to go, oh, these guys sound like the new Zeppelin. That's what I remember.
Yeah, they did Take Me Down, Slow and Easy, Love Ain't No Stranger.
Coverdale.
Guilty of Love. What else was on that? Right? There's another big hit. Slide It In. You talk too much. You're always saying what's on your mind. But Here I Go Again was like the pop radio hit, but it was already released earlier. It was just a regurgitation of it. And then they also re-released Crying in the Rain. Slide It In to me is I don't know if it's a raw record because, well, there's a few different versions. There's two pressings of Slide It In. There's the UK pressing, which doesn't have John Sykes, and then there's the US pressing that added John Sykes. But Ready and Willing is a fucking raw, great album. I love the Ready and Willie album from 1980, Ready and Willing. But yeah, so
and what's the Deep Purple?
Still of the Night was a tune that Sykes wrote.
Oh, Perfect Strangers.
What?
Dave, what's
Deep
the
Purple?
connection with Whitesnake, if any, in Deep Purple? Is there any?
Whitesnake was started by Coverdale, who was the singer of Deep Purple at the time. The drummer of the original drummer of Whitesnake was Ian Pace. I don't know if Lloyd was in the band. There's somebody else. It's three guys left Deep Purple to start Whitesnake. And at that point, I think two guys were in Rainbow, right? By that time. Yeah, when Whitesnake started, Rainbow was two guys it was Roger Glover and because I think Roger Glover came in after Long Live Rock and Roll.
Who was playing bass before?
Yeah, he did everything. No, well, he didn't do all the music, Cheech, because when Sykes got fired, they brought in the solo on Here I Go Again is Adrian Vandenberg.
Yeah, but the rest of it is Sykes. The rest of the album is Sykes, yeah. And the video is Vandenberg and Vivian Campbell.
Thanks for repeating what I just said.
Oh, no, I thought...
in case anybody was too slow to figure out that I said that the album was Sykes, except for that one song, and then Zelda has to come in and say...
I didn't hear it that way.
Oh, well, you didn't hear... What I said?
I heard it like... you said, it wasn't Sykes. They had this guy come in and then I said
it wasn't all Sykes. They had a guy come in on that other song.
Okay, I didn't get all. I didn't get all out of that.
Well, I said it wasn't all Sykes. He says, was it all Sykes?
Why did he get fired?
I think it was personalities with Coverdale.
That's understandable.
Yeah, Coverdale was a douche and he wasn't, I guess.
He was a
I don't know about that.
Really?
I heard Sykes was tough to deal with at that time. I heard, from just a few people. I don't know anything about him. And John Sykes, if you're watching, you're welcome to come on the show and argue with me. But I had heard that you were difficult to work with. I could be wrong.
Other way around. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I'm not saying Coverdale's free of fault. I'm saying you got two personalities that are, that. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go on YouTube, you could see Sykes performing it by himself and singing, and Sykes can sing his ass off too. He's no slouch. In fact, Blue Murder was a great band.
Oh, that was awesome.
Right?
Yeah, he's a great player.
Coverdale's your number one. Now, there is a singer that is popular. I'm not going to say who he is. I'm not going to out him. But he calls Coverdale the Roger Moore of rock and roll.
Oof.
Which I think is funny because I think Coverdale, when he was on, is 10 times the singer that this guy is. But I don't want to say who it was. Oh, Thunder and Lightning, Hannah Bomb. That's the shit. Yeah, I just don't think the songs on the Steeler record was great. The playing was, but the songs on that Alcatraz record was fucking great. I remember that thing blew my head off when it came out.
Island.
Yeah, see, okay, Cheech is there with me. All right, you're back to being Cheech. You agreed with me. Your flounder is in temporary suspension.
This is great.
Isn't this? Oh, it's fucking great. I love Stephen First.
Oh yeah, he passed away a couple of years ago.
He did?
Yeah.
I went to his funeral. Some people playing cards. I went over. You guys playing cards?
You guys?
Yeah, Coverdale's awesome. And Coverdale, I'll tell you right now, my favorite Coverdale Deep Purple record is Stormbringer.
Oh, that's a fucking awesome album.
It's a great album. And I tell you, I love the singing going back and forth between him and Glenn Hughes on Hold On.
The both of them can sing their asses off.
Excellent. I'm so glad Elite.
I'm
so glad you're here because Elite just brought something up. He thought the album production was better. I don't. I think the production is too greasy in 87, and I like the drier thing. So I want to make a correction to last week when Krellbar said that his top 3 guitar players were Brian May, Van Halen, and Jimmy Page. I don't remember the order. It doesn't matter. Van Halen one. And I thought, I'll do the same. I spoke out of turn. I think Uli Roth would be in my top 3. So I would have Uli Roth, Eddie Van Halen, and then Jimmy Page as well.
Well, wasn't part of the criteria supposed to be influence too? Now, Uli did influence people, but I don't think he had as much influence as
me as a kid.
Page,
and so, and then I'm going to bring up something you brought up, Krell, when we were talking. I think we were smoking cigars. We were talking about live albums, and you had brought up Tokyo tapes. So I went back and listened to Tokyo tapes, and I got to tell you, it's fucking fantastic. I do think the best live album, in my opinion, is Judas Priest Unleashed in the East. Just because there's something about when I listen to it, it brings me back such nostalgia of when I was a young guitar player trying to cop all those riffs. But when I listen to Tokyo tapes, man, fucking Uli is out of control. He's so good. Now, today, I listen to Worldwide Live. Worldwide Live has great songs, and the band sounds fantastic. Although Rudy Schenker, his guitar tone blows away Matthias on this live record. Matthias sounds like he's got a wah half cocked. I just don't like that sound.
Yeah.
But that recording of that album, it sounds like Dungy from the Colts fucking produced it. Do you remember when the Colts were playing the Patriots, and every time the Patriots had the ball, you would hear fucking the audience screaming through these speakers because they were piping in audience? And anyone that says they weren't doing that, bullshit. There was even a skip on one. They got the audience so fucking loud. I feel like I'm at a Colts game. They're singing. What's the opening song on that fucking record? It's
Big
on
City Nights.
No, it's Coming Home.
Coming home. I'm coming home.
The crowd is screaming through the whole thing. I've never been to a concert where people are screaming their balls off. Once the band starts playing, everyone shuts the balls up. You can tell it's like a looped audience that just keeps looping through. And you got to check out this live album. It's absurd. And
I
then
never noticed.
When was it released?
84.
85.
85. Wow.
85.
The fake
and then when they play like Holiday, you can hear them blending it down. It's like, oh, well, you should have done this on every song. Like, if you're gonna, I don't mind if you look, since this album, if you listen to Frampton Comes Alive, the audience sounds like he's playing in front of the biggest crowd in the world. At the point the guy sold 4 records. This was the record that sold, but the fake audience helped him along.
Yes, they did.
But they turn it down when he's playing the song. It's in between the songs that it sounds like that. This fucking Scorpions album, it's like the audience doesn't let up. I'm on the treadmill today listening to it going, are these guys for fucking real? They think I'm going to buy the fact that this song, you can hear like a girl screaming in the middle of the song when the fucking guitar starts playing. I'm like, oh, I can hear that. I can hear her over this. Oh, I got 120 fucking decibels blaring in my ear. And there's a girl in fucking the 80th row that I can hear clear. Yeah. Oh, Matthias. Ah, Rudy. Nobody cares about Herman Rabel.
Herman the German.
Herman Rabel.
Joyman. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of records that have it mixed in, but nothing to me is worse than Worldwide Live because the performance is really good. Like, from what I can hear of the music, I just found the fucking audience sound was so I'm like, I can't listen to this. I mean, I was listening to it to see, was it better than Tokyo Tapes? The answer is no. The answer is negative. But Judas Priest Unleashed in the East, and I'll tell you, they have like a bonus tracks version. There's no reason to have the bonus tracks version. They didn't add me decent songs. If you're going to add bonus tracks, make sure, like when in Cheap Trick, when they did Live at Budokan, they have Live at Budokan Part 2. Every fucking song on it's great. But their whole catalog back then was great. They only had 3 records at that point. Anywho, I wanted to bring that up because, number one, I wanted to give Uli his credit. And 2, I wanted to say that Scorpions Tokyo Tapes is definitely up there for the greatest live records for me. I think Slide It In is their best album. I do. I think a close second for me is Ready and Willing. After Ready and Willing, I'd go to 1987's eponymous album. After that, I might go to Saints and Sinners. And then maybe after that, I don't know. What's the album with Steve Vai? That album's annoying.
Oh, Slip of the Tongue.
Oh, Charlie S. Victim of Change is on that album is fantastic. Everything, The Ripper, Tyrant, Genocide, all fucking good. All right, guys, we have a list for you tonight. This list is, and I'll have to read it because the way I pasted it, it's all what we say in Yiddish is fucked. It's it's a mess. Yeah.
Michigan.
Well, Michigas is what the show's all about. We just sit and talk about shite, you know. So this is the 50 most influential guitar albums of all time. 50 of the most influential guitar albums of all time. I'm looking at some of these numbers and I'm like, no, it is not. Number 50, by the way, is probably in my top 6 guitar players of all time.
Oh yeah, but I don't think it's influential as much as
the album.
Other albums. The albums
I don't think
wasn't
it's.
influential.
I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't. It wouldn't. If I had to list top influential guitar albums, I don't know if it would make the number 50 of their albums.
Yeah, because
the band is Toto. The album is Toto 4. Are you guys familiar with the record?
What's on it?
Jeez,
Rosanna.
there's only like the biggest Rosanna. Yeah.
Rosanna, Africa, Won't Hold You Back, Waiting for Your Love. Why don't we make believe we're in love again? Oh, it's a great album, but I don't think it's a guitar. We're just going to fly through these because some of these are so absurd. Neil Young Harvest is number 49.
I actually like songs on that album, but it's not an influential guitar album.
It's
if Neil Young taught anybody anything, it's that you don't have to take lessons on guitar. You can just fucking hack around, and that's. But if that was an influence, I don't know if it's a positive influence. Number 48 is Joe Pass, Virtuoso.
Agreed.
I'm not familiar with this album.
Nor am I.
Oh, you know, Elite, every time somebody brings up Scorpions or Shanker, they always bring up Strangers in the Night. I never connected with that album. I love Obsession, the last studio album with Shanker. And I love MSG, the first 3 albums with Gary Barden. Not the
the Joe Pass album. Just a little background on that.
Go ahead.
It's just him, and he's playing through a jazz box, probably through his Emperor, and I believe, and no amplifier. It's just all acoustically, and he just plays the jazz tunes, the chord melody stuff, and he truly is a virtuoso.
I think
so
Joe
many
will
people
agree
cite
with
that
me.
as an influence.
Yeah, I will say this, and Joe might agree with me. Joe, have you ever heard that album?
Which one?
Joe Pass, Virtuoso?
No, but I know Joe Pass. So I never heard that album.
Yeah.
I've got the CD.
Yeah, Total 4 was a big
Not
pop
handy.
album, but I liked it. I don't think it's an influential guitar album. Number 47 is by no way an influential guitar album. That's James Brown live at the Apollo.
What?
Well, Jimmy Nolan was kind of an influential guitar player. I don't know how many people he influenced, though, but
4? Apparently you knew who he was. His mother knew he played on that record.
yeah, well,
exactly.
He's a great funk guitar player, and a lot of people. But someone could cite it as an influence, but I don't think he was that big of a
top
influence.
50, Krell. Yeah.
Top 50, no.
All right, that's the point. I'm not denying that there's some good playing on any one of these records. I'm saying top 50 influential guitar albums of all time. Like, are we going to see Demiola's Elegant Gypsy on here? I don't know. We'll get to it when we get to it. 46. It is there. It's 45. 46 is the Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East.
I can't argue with that.
No, absolutely an heavily influential album to a lot of guitar players growing up in that time, and even some that are younger. So far, none on this list, except for maybe one song on the fucking Toto 4 album, has influenced me in any way.
Mm-hmm.
The song would be Rosanna. That solo's fantastic. Number 45 is Al Di Meola, Elegant Gypsy.
Definitely belongs.
Yeah, even I have.
I see so many guitar players cite that as an influence.
I have to say, I wore that record out. I still listen to it to this day. It's in my car. I think it's great. And you know what? I like Sister of Rome, whatever, of Brazil. There's some other great songs on that record. It's like, it's not just the Shred Fest. Number 44 is Ricky Nelson Sings Again.
Yeah, James Burton. No, James Burton played on all those, and his licks were very influential. Yeah,
but the problem is was the record out there that people had it.
What do you mean?
That released
1950.
No. What's the name of the record?
59.
59.
It's released in 59.
What's on it? What's the hit?
Oh, I don't know, but I'll tell you what.
Well, no, to try to bolster Krellbar's point.
Let's see what songs are on it.
Yeah, because he did have some cool licks.
Yeah,
no
James
one's
Burton,
denying.
he was the first to get those thin strings on there and do all the string bending and stuff like that. All the weird.
But that's why I want to know what the track list is, because, if it's
I'm gonna look it up.
Some super poppy shit and he's not doing anything. Like, I get what you're saying. Also, he's the guy who wrote the riff for Suzy Q, right? Wasn't he the guitar?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Yeah,
I believe he did. Yes.
That is fucking influential, right?
Right, but that's not the same album. This is called Ricky Nelson Sings Again. And Joe was just going to say, when the hell did he sing the first time?
That's okay.
It's late. That was when the hits
almost leads into we've already heard this fucking guy before, right? So there's nothing influential here at all. The influential guitar player is kind of just playing along. When in fact, when he played with
Elvis.
No, Suzy, no, he played with Elvis much later.
Yeah.
Suzy Q guy, whatever the fucking the guy's name is, it escapes me.
John Fogerty?
No. Suzy Q, it's a tune from like 54, 55.
Oh, you're talking about the original version.
Correct.
Yeah,
and he came up with that riff, which is tremendously influential. The Suzy Q riff. You dig?
A lot of the country players that came up through the 60s and 70s cite James Burton as
Yeah, but James Burton was playing country
with,
then. Not playing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about.
No, I mean, they were influenced by hearing him first on the Ricky Nelson stuff. It's like, oh, wow, what's that guitar? Even though it wasn't totally guitar, it's like, what's he doing, you know? So I kind of agree with that, to tell you the truth, that's on there.
So Ricky Nelson Sings Again is going to be in your top 50.
None.
That's my point, Krell.
Well,
talking about the list.
It's not in my top 50.
I'm not talking about disparaging the player. I'm just saying, do you think that you can't find 40? What number is it? 44. You can't find 40. You can only think of 43 albums that are more influential. No, it's out of its mind.
It
wouldn't be in my top 100.
From what I've read, he's influenced tons of country guitar players. Not when he was playing country, but when he was playing those licks on Ricky Nelson.
He played with Dale Hawkins in 1957, and that's when the cue I was referencing came out. Yeah. So, again, no one's gonna tell you fucking that on this stupid fucking list, but that's far more influential than Ricky Nelson singing about.
I would agree. It's late. We better get on home.
There's no riff. I mean, there's no fucking riff.
There's solos, though. There's solos in some of the songs. And those solos influenced the whole legion of players.
I understand.
43. We're going back into the 50s with Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps with an album called Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps.
Cliff Gallup. Definitely a big influence on a lot of players.
Stratocaster, Black Stratocaster. Huge.
No, he played a Gretsch, I believe.
No, the Black Stratocaster.
Cliff Gallup?
That is fucking.
Are you sure?
I'll fact check over here while you guys are.
Cliff Gallup, yeah. I thought he played a Gretsch.
How many guitar players were in Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps? Gene played, and then the other guy, right? He played the Black Stratocaster. So let me just get some visual confirmation of this.
Wow, I could be wrong, but
you could be, brother. You know, there's a whole lot of information in the world, and you could get it wrong once in a while. So could I. Thank God for fucking Google. Cliff Gallup Stratocaster. So he's pictured with the Gretsch initially here, all right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to dig in a little bit. You guys fucking kibitz.
A duo jet. He used to play duo jet.
Yeah.
So I'm not going crazy.
No, I think he's the guy who has the first Black Stratocaster, and I think Kirk Hammett owns it. But I could
who owned the first Black Stratocaster?
Yeah, it's got his initials on the thing.
Yeah, it sounds vaguely familiar. Howard Reed Jr.
So wait a minute.
In 58, he was with Gene Vincent as well. So he was the other guitar player.
Oh, all right. So who's the guy who plays the riff?
Cliff Gallup's the one that plays all the solos and stuff.
So there you go. So the other guy, what's the other dude's name?
Howard Reed Jr.
That's the guitar. That's the Stratocaster.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. But that other guy is always up front right next to Gene, like in the pitches and shit. This other guy must be in the background. Like the Strat guy. It's so typical. He's like the Joe Perry of the fucking Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps.
So I agree he should be on this list. I mean, they should be on this list because his playing definitely influenced a lot of.
42 is Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence because it's like, I don't know if that was the most influential, if it should be top 50, but I mean, like, you know damn well that there were a lot of people that picked up guitar after they heard that. So
yeah. And just the whole presentation.
You think that the Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps is more influential than Derek and the Dominoes? Because I don't think Derek and the Dominoes belongs in the top 50 either. But I think it belongs a lot higher on the list than the Blue Caps.
I think Derek and the Dominoes will continue to influence people, where Gene Vincent may have influenced guys our age, but
Or
nobody's
older, which
correct.
is my point. Which is like, yeah, that album probably influenced a lot of country guys that came out in the 70s.
Yeah,
but it hasn't held the test of time.
correct. People have found Dwight Yoakam or somebody, or still 60s guys, and they only go so far back enough to.
But you figure, a
Well,
lot of these were at the
do.
beginnings of rock and roll and stuff. And
So does
for
that
them
mean
to
that it's
have
more
that
influential?
well,
I'm saying it may have lost its luster. People in the 80s don't know that album. In the 90s,
Correct.
but the guys who in the 70s, I understand. My point I'm just saying is, to me, something has to have a little bit more longer longevity.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Because otherwise,
okay, that can be part of the
I
criteria.
think what people do now is
I
go
don't
back
know what the criteria is. I'm just saying.
They go back to the 60s, and honestly,
making this up as we go along.
people think Guns N' Roses is
No, we're just trying to come up
rock
to see does it belong in the list, and I'm saying no. I've never heard of it in my life. And if I never heard of it, and I know a fuckload of music, I'm thinking that a lot of people don't know it. And therefore, it probably influenced a lot of people maybe at a specific time, but it definitely hasn't held the test of time.
But Derek and the
That's all I'm
Dominoes
saying.
has. Derek and the Dominoes has.
Well, it's also a little bit newer, but I mean, you're not really that much newer. What was the other one? 57. So we're looking at 14 years, 15 years
Something
difference.
Like even less, really. Depending on when that was recorded.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Number 41 is disturbing to me. It's Frank Zappa, Hot Rats.
No, I don't see that.
I don't know that that's even Frank's best guitar album.
No, his best guitar album would probably be. Geez, well, I like Apostrophe. I think the playing on
Apostrophe is
this,
great. I think. What's the album with Black Napkins? That has some great guitar work on.
That is
Zoodalores.
Yep.
Zoodalores. Number 40 is George Benson, Breezin'.
No.
Can you guys tell me who wrote the song Breezin'?
And
I'll give you a hint. It's not George Benson.
Gabo Zabo.
Who?
Gabo Zabo.
No, I don't know who the hell that is.
He's the guy who wrote Gypsy Queen as well.
No, you know the song Breezin', right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the guy's name. The guy wrote, "Well, I used to love her, but it's all over now." What the hell's his name? What the hell's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? He sang across 110th Street. Across 110th Street.
Bobby Womack.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bobby Womack wrote Breezin'. Number 39 is Yes, the Yes album. Joe, do you have that record?
Yes.
It's a good album.
There is no other answer. Yes.
Well, say no. I like Steve Howe.
He's awesome.
I think Fragile was probably a more influential record when Roundabout and Heart of the Sunrise.
Yeah. Not sure if it should be in top 50 though.
What's that? The Yes album or Fragile?
Influence? Either.
Oh, I don't know. I think Fragile could belong there.
Fragile.
Yeah, I just think because so many people are really Yes fanatics. We're not, but so many people are. I think his guitar tone is shit, but whatever.
If that's the case, there's got to be a Grateful Dead album on here then, because they influenced a lot of fanatics too.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't make the fucking list, so I couldn't tell you. I don't know who made this list. Joe sent me this list.
What about Rush? Is Rush on this fucking list?
We'll see
him yet, but we're getting to right now. 38 is Extreme Porno Graffiti.
No,
what?
That's a great album.
What did that influence?
I mean, I love Nuno's playing on it, and you know what? He did influence quite a few guitar. A lot of people cite him as an influence. Top 50, no.
Eagles, Hotel California is 37.
As a guitar, that the solo in Hotel California influenced a lot.
Yeah,
of
you got to put that in there.
Yeah, great record. Life in the
Great
Fast
record.
Great record.
Probably.
Told you the
I don't
story
know,
how I
song? Huh?
What?
I told you what you said.
I told you the story how I acquired that record.
Yes, last week.
Exactly. Oh,
I don't know. I there's not many that I couldn't play, but I don't know. I'm not willing to take any type of life in the fast lane. 36 is the Police, Outlandos, Demore.
What songs were on the
first one?
Was that
the first album, Roxanne, Can't Stand Losing You.
All right. Yes.
Hole in My Life, Peanuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Born in the 50s.
Born in the 50s, Sally,
definitely
Be My Girl.
Yes.
I think it was an important record.
They had their own sound.
3-piece band. The bass player fronted. They were fantastic. I was heavily influenced by the whole thing.
Yeah, they were great. Number 35, who just beat them out, is Metallica, Master of Puppets.
As influential, no, but I love the album.
How is that not influential? Are you
What's
fucking
that?
kidding me right now? I said, how is that not influential?
Yeah.
That record. How could you even fucking say that?
What do you mean not influential?
Did you even say that's not
I
influential?
did. I don't think it should be in top 50. No.
But that's an
You know what?
influential. That's an influential guitar.
I don't like that.
Yeah, and I can name a million other ones that probably should go ahead of it.
All right. Well,
I think
don't
Ride
like
the
it.
Lightning is a better
No,
album.
off the top of my head, but
I'll agree with you on that one.
What's
Trapped
a
Under
better album?
Ice is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Trapped Under Ice, Creeping Death,
Yeah,
Call
that
of
fucking
Cthulhu.
album. Yeah.
But I would
That
say
is the best album.
that Master of Puppets is more influential than Ride the Lightning. Definitely. Because the Master of Puppets is what pushed them into the mainstream.
I agree with that.
My whole point.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you could put some of that
still,
early
I'm just
Megadeth on
saying.
here
I'm
'cause
just
Marty-
comparing their album at that point in time and stuff. I still don't think it should be in the top 50.
Well, again, to Dave's point, it kind of stands the test of time. I think that record becomes additionally influential as time has gone on.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like this fucking band, but I'm just
Ian, just so you guys know, James Hetfield worked with, I forget the cigar company, but they're coming out with, it just came out, the cigar is called Blackened.
Really?
I'm not kidding. James
Are you
Hetfield's in
serious?
100%. Look it up. Blackened. It's James Hetfield's blend of cigar with some guy.
Yeah,
Get
Cheech.
James on the fucking
It's a
show.
great album. It's a great album, Cheech. But I mean, again, we're talking about influence and did influence people. I just don't
Yeah,
think it
it's
should be in
true.
the top 50.
Doesn't
Who is
matter.
it? Who is it with, Joe?
Masterpiece.
Black and Cigars M81 by Drew Estate.
Drew Estates and James Hetfield.
For how much?
They're not much.
Okay.
Like $10 a stick, probably.
All right.
Oh, Blackened is their whiskey brand, also, says Charlie S. You guys know a lot about Metallica.
Ruffalo's typo. Metallica is a giant mark in the annal of history. I don't know if that was
I don't
intentional
think
or
it was a
not.
typo. I think he did that on purpose.
Okay.
Gotta fucking laugh. Good one.
Oh, shit.
Halloween, man.
Elroy Shredding had the line of the night. I think he's right. He said, Steve Howe, another great guitar player with a horrible tone. Opposite side, Santana, great tone, horrible guitar player.
So they
I
got
agree.
a fucking ad. Get out of here. I don't want to subscribe. Let me see. We got a Robusto 5x50. What does that mean?
So, okay, that's excellent you asked. So 5x50 means it's 5 inches long, and the circumference of the cigar is 50/64ths of an inch.
All right. And that one's selling for $945. There's a Toro that's 6x52 for $985.
You wouldn't like, yeah. See, I like a 52 ring personally, But 5x50 is good. It's good for you because it's a short smoke.
And that's $9.85. There's a Corona Doble, Doble, 7x50
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For $10.35. Then there's a Corona that's 5x43 for $9.15.
Nice. The Robusto's what you want.
Why?
Because it's a short smoke. It's a 5x50 you can bang out in 45 minutes. 6x52, you're there for an hour and 20.
Damn.
I prefer Robustos personally because I like the shorter smoke. But yeah, so the ring sizes, they're all just fractions of 64. So 52 is 52 64ths. A 60 ring is almost an inch around. It's 4 64ths off or 1.
Yeah, that hotcake's a 60, right?
Yeah, it's a great cigar.
Still
Haven't smoked that yet?
Nope.
Oh, it's great. All right, number 34, Beating Out Metallica. And this is easily his best guitar album, and I do say that, biting my lip and stabbing my leg. It is Prince and the Revolution, Purple Rain.
It's not an influential guitar album. It's an influential album.
Right, but
Not
the thing was
guitar
influential guitar albums.
Yeah, exactly. I just said that as an aside.
Cheech, you're in Canada. So the Romeo and Juliet is from Cuba. The short Churchill or the wide Churchill. Awesome cigars. Awesome cigars. The Dominican brand, which is like, you have to understand, there's like in the States here, we have like, we can't get the Cubans, there's an embargo. So we deal with buying what's called legacy brands or heritage brands from companies that own the name, but don't make the same cigar. And I think the Romeo and Julietas that are outside of Cuba are terrible. The Cuban short Churchill, wide Churchill, fantastic. The non-Cubans, I'll pass. Although they're trying to reshape that non-Cuban line and add new cigars, but I haven't tried any. All right, Prince and the Revolution, that was a terrible one. Not a great guitar album. He has better guitar albums. Yeah, no, he can get Cubans up there. Number 33 is David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
Well,
was
it
it Mick
influenced Randy
Ronson on
Rhoads.
guitar?
Yeah,
What?
Mick Ronson influenced Randy Rhoads. He was influenced by Mick Ronson.
I know, but you know what I hate? I'm just going to say this. I hate when people tell me what other guitar players were influenced by because of what they said in an interview. He sounds nothing like Mick Ronson.
Yeah.
It's like,
doesn't,
you know, everyone, I know, but it's like when Van Halen came out and said, Eric Clapton's the guy I know all his songs. No, you don't. You're talking about.
You don't want to talk
And
about
then later it unravels that he was a big Richie Blackmore fan and Blackmore snuffed him and he told him and he was like, I'm never going to give that guy credit. So I never listen when someone says someone's a big influence. I think a lot of it is political bullshit and niceties in the business.
Well, I don't think you have to necessarily sound like the person you were influenced by. I'm influenced by Jimi Hendrix. I sound nothing like Jimi Hendrix when I play.
Is there a chapter online for cigars? A chapter? You can buy them online. I don't know what Canada's like. I don't live in Canada, so I don't know what you have to do there. But I will say this. Who were we just talking about? Mick Ronson.
So if we can't,
you could have been a Bowie fan, but hold on. But let's just say this: if I said to somebody, "I'm a huge Bob Mothersbaugh fan," I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the band. I love the music.
Me too. Yep.
And Devo's music was a big influence on me. But if somebody would have sit there and say, "Oh yeah, Bob Mothersbaugh," well, Dave Levine really fucking was influenced by him. Even I'm going to say bullshit. I don't think of my playing anything like his, but I enjoyed him as a player because I liked the band. And so every one of those guys all grew up with David Bowie and the Ziggy Stardust record, but the playing on it's not that. I mean, it's that fuzz. I don't know.
So can I pose this question? If if we can't trust what a guitar player says are their influences, how can we rank a list of most influential guitar albums?
Easy, because you know if something's influential and it's a great guitar record.
Yeah, but you know it's something influential because people say they were influenced by it. So now if we can't
You don't
trust
have to.
people,
Let me ask you this: do you think you need to hear Slash tell you that he was a Zeppelin fan? You don't need to hear.
Oh,
that.
you're saying that you just tell from the playing, you mean?
I could tell from I could just listen to people and see what the hell people were listening to. You think I have to listen to fucking Vito Bratta to sit there and go, "Oh, those guys hated Van Halen"?
Tell you the truth, I when I first heard Guns N' Roses, I thought they were more influenced by Aerosmith, by the way they sounded.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying they weren't. I'm just pulling out a band. I'm saying I would say Guns N' Roses were more influenced by 70s rock and roll than, let's say, Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps.
Absolutely.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Hey, later, Elite. True Spider Fuzz. Oh, I have a True 5 pedal. I have the orange fuzz, whatever that thing's called. It's fucking great. Yeah, visually.
Yeah, I agree with Elroy.
Yeah, I do too.
Get the haircut. Mm-hmm.
He also visually was influenced by Brian. What the hell was his last name? The lead singer of Sweet.
Oh, Brian. God, what the fuck's his name? I know this. It's Brian. Oh my God, my brother's gonna make fun of me when he knows I forgot his friggin' name.
I love Sweet.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get that name.
While
you look that up, we're gonna say number 32 is Santana Abraxas. And just on this point, I also want to throw in Neil Schon is definitely in my top 10 guitar players of all time for me.
Brian Connolly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't believe I forgot that.
So Santana Abraxas, I mean, that influenced a lot of guys that I grew up with. But people, you guys know what I think of Santana.
I know
if he was on fire
50.
and I had to take a raging piss, I'm still not pissing out. I'm not putting out that fire.
Awful.
Number 31 is an album by a guy who was heavily influenced by Mick Ronson, and that is Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz.
You have to put that on this.
Yeah, that influenced a whole legion of guitar players.
Put that on there in the top 10 easy.
Blizzard and Diary are like a part of the Bible.
Unbelievable.
They're part of the 5 books.
I wasn't even a guitar player when that came out, and I'm like, I hear that, and I knew it was something different right off the bat, and I go, whoa, what the fuck's this?
And let me tell you, the album that beat it out is, I gotta say, it's probably up there. It's in my top 2 albums by U2. I'm not a huge U2 fan, but this album's The Unforgettable Fire. And this is such an influential album for guitar players. Let me explain why. In one of the songs, Brian Eno asked the Edge to pick the G string and just play the G string. And the Edge said, "Which one's the G string?" Thank you. That's a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's legend, man.
I mean, he's
a
great inventor and stuff of not inventor, but manipulating the effects and stuff like that. He creates some interesting sounds, but
I agree. I have no problem with the Edge. I think War is a really good influential guitar album because Sunday Bloody Sunday, all that rhythm guitar things, and New Year's Day was interesting. To me, that was like a whole new dawn of MTV and very influential. Whereas I think The Unforgettable Fire is a better album, but it's a little tepid. It's not as hot. Number 29 is Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely should be up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but is it the most influential guitar album from Pink Floyd?
I think so, only because it's the most purchased.
Yeah.
Therefore, by number, I mean, because I would say Animals, the playing is better on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how many homes?
you were gonna-
But
How
that
many homes did Animal get in? What happened?
that bass riff
No, which one?
on Money.
Oh. Joe, what were you saying?
I was going to say, if you were going to make a list of the most influential songs, then you have to have Comfortably Numb, probably in the top 5. Fucking
Wish you were
Babies
here,
Are Born
actually.
playing that fucking solo on Instagram.
Right. I agree. In Time is also,
Time, I fucking love that.
it's a great solo.
That may be my favorite, one of my favorite, if not favorite, Pink Floyd songs. And that solo was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Gilmour
not-
is a special creature, you know, because he the songs that when he plays a solo, he's basically singing and playing another song in a song.
Yeah.
You could walk away and sing that solo,
Yeah.
and you're still not bored with the slowness of it, or because it's just so very like well done.
Lush.
Now, beating out Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon is Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force Marching Out album.
Why, if they were going to put an Yngwie album on there, why would they put that one on? It's like,
absurd.
I mean, the first one, and you mentioned Alcatraz too. It's like Alcatraz and that first Rising
I
Force
also
album,
think
yeah.
Trilogy's a better guitar album than
Trilogy's
Marching
fine.
Out.
That's
Right.
Yngwie's best album.
Yeah.
We all know I feel that way.
Yeah. Number 27, beating out Yngwie, is a gentleman by the name of Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland. So they picked his worst album to be the most influential, when I think Bandit Gypsies, and I say Bandit Gypsies because Bandit Gypsies influenced Robin Trower, that whole sound, the whole Univibe sound. And Bold as Love with The Experience is a much better record and way more influential than Electric Ladyland. I can't believe what's beating out Hendrix.
As far as influential, though, I mean, like, I think Are You Experienced was his most influential album. That's the one that hit and friggin' really not his best album, but
What's that?
most influential. Oh, Are You Experienced?
Oh, I think Bold as Love. Because Bold as Love had Little Wing.
Yeah.
It had Spanish Castle Magic. It had Castles Made of Sand. There was that second color that came in to his heavy stuff. That I think Bold as Love, Up from the Skies. What else was on that? That was a great record. But I just think it was more influential to the generation that followed than the Foxy Lady horseshit.
Yeah, well, you're talking about the ones that ended up trying to emulate that sound off the
which was
Band
everybody.
Gypsies album. But I mean, like, then everyone else was influenced years before. And when that come out, 66, 67?
67 is the first one.
It like a ton of bricks.
Bold as Love.
But I mean, like, even like Who Live at Leeds, where Pete Townsend says, I was trying to channel Jimi Hendrix. It's like, so that was before the Band of Gypsies, wasn't it? When was Live at Leeds?
69.
Oh, 70, 69, yeah.
69.
Yeah.
Band of Gypsies is 69, New Year's Eve. I thought Live at Leeds is 70 or 70.
Well, probably got released but recorded.
No, the show. Somebody, let's look it up.
No, somebody of these fucking guys will know. It's around there. It's later though than Are You Experienced.
No, he's asking.
Oh yeah, definitely is later than Are You Experienced. I'm trying to figure out Band of Gypsies. Yeah.
All right, it was recorded in February of 70.
Yeah. Okay.
So it came out 2 months late. It was recorded 2 months after Bold, after Band of Gypsies was, because Band of Gypsies is New Year's Eve 69.
That's when it was released.
70.
Band of Gypsies.
No, that's when it was recorded.
Recorded. Okay, but I mean, if we're trying to figure out if Townsend was influenced by it, Live at Leeds. So if it,
he could have been to the show. He could have been to that show.
If it was in February, that he played live at Leeds, and he
Yeah, but
said that
you're thinking that
influenced by
Towns,
Hendrix,
yeah.
and the Band of Gypsies hadn't been released yet. It had been recorded, but not necessarily released. Then he couldn't have been influenced by it. So it's
Right, but I was saying Bold as Love. I don't know why you keep bringing up Band of Gypsies. When I said Bold as Love would be the album.
That's right. I'm sorry.
And that's 68.
And that's 68.
All right, you gotta figure all those guys were influenced by Hendrix since the second they fucking saw him.
And those guys saw Hendrix all the time. Like he probably was.
That's
at
why I
that
say
show.
the first album. Yeah, Are You Experienced
The
the first album?
no,
but I'm saying he was probably at that Band of Gypsies show.
You know, when Paul McCartney saw him and with the the Marshall stacks and all that shit, they never hear him on the radio. They saw him in a bar somewhere.
Yeah.
26 guys, which just beats out Hendrix Electric Ladyland, is a fucking farce. What is my least favorite Iron Maiden album?
The first one.
The 26 is Iron Maiden, Iron Maiden. That's the most influential Iron Maiden album? Who the fuck owned it?
I love the first two, but it's not the best guitar album.
Killers is fucking so much better than the first
Killers
one,
is fucking amazing.
Killers is amazing.
Influential would probably be Number of the Beast, probably
or Peace of Mind.
Yeah, even
but as far as influential and stuff, I think
or Power Slave.
Yeah, Power Slave. First concert I ever saw was the Power Slave tour.
Live After Death.
You know what pissed me off? And not many people remember. The Live After Death album had 4 sides. The CD only had 3. Why would you do me like that?
Well, do they take songs off, or do they just fit more songs on the CD? Because CD will hold more music.
But no, it was reverse. It was a double album, had 4 sides. The CD was missing a whole side.
No, I know, but I'm saying a CD can hold more music than an album, so I don't know if they added more songs to each CD.
No.
Somebody look that up.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
They had less on the CDs. What I'm telling you, the CD was missing a whole side.
Oh, it was missing. That's what I was asking. Was it missing it?
Yeah, it was missing the 4th side, the 4th album side. Why the fuck would you do that?
Oh, it was on one CD.
I don't
was
care.
It 2 CDs?
It was probably 1 CD, but
that's why.
Give me the whole fucking thing.
Right, I agree. Put it on
There's
double.
only 3 things I have to say. Right, and I told you this last week. 1, you didn't hear a thing I said. 2, you just don't get it. And 3, I'll be right back. I got to go check Mikey.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
All right, number 25, guys, is the Smiths. Hat Full of Hollow.
Don't know enough about the Smiths, but I know.
I love the Smiths. I love Johnny Marr. I don't know that Hat Full of Hollow. It's first of all, it's a UK press release. It wasn't when it was released only as an import for here. So they took a Hat Full of Hollow and another album together, The World Won't Listen, and called it I just blanked on that. It's the Orange album. What the hell was the name of that album? But it's a double album that they called one album here. I can't believe I just blanked on the name.
I'll look it up.
No, give me a second. So we got the Smiths, Meat is Murder, Queen is Dead, Strange Ways. Thank you, Ben. Louder Than Bombs. Thank you. All right, Joe's back. Yeah, Louder Than Bombs. So Hat Full of Hollow is a weird choice, although I love Johnny Marr, so I'm all good with Johnny Marr. Joe, are you a Smiths fan at all, or know them?
No, my friend Hoover is a huge fan, but I don't think I've ever heard one song, unless you would have pointed out a song. I'm like, oh, that's them.
Yeah, I always look up to remember. I'm always like,
geez, now
I have notes all over my ceiling. Okay.
We've mentioned Flounder. Now we've mentioned Hoover. I mean,
right.
Who's next?
Otter.
Now? Otter. Yeah.
Number 24. Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble.
Definitely influential.
I can't even. First of all, I'm not a big fan of blues, but I can't argue it. So everyone loved that record that had Love Struck and Pride and Joy.
every blues guitarist nowadays wants to sound like him.
Yeah. They should learn
And,
how to play with finesse like him.
Hmm.
But for now, they're going to buy a fucking TS-808.
Mhm.
And a Dumble.
You're going to charge me $1,200 for a fucking amp and there's no effects loop? I'm not paying for that.
1,200.
No. Well, Dumbles don't have effects loops, but they're not
They're 40.
1,200.
Yeah, 40 grand.
Dumbles bounce.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 23 is the Beatles' Revolver.
Great album, but influential guitar album.
I got to say this. It always bothers me when I see guitar player lists and I see George Harrison on the list. I've never listened to a Beatles album once and said, what the hell was that? I gotta go learn how to play that. I'll learn the song to learn the song. But I've never once thought to myself, like, this guy's just fantastic. And then there's a fucking song called Cracker Box Palace. And for that, Your Honor, I rest my case on George Harrison. That is the worst song ever. So I love Revolver. Doesn't belong. 22 is Buddy Holly and the Crickets. The album's called The Chirping Crickets. I love Buddy Holly.
So do I. Influential album, but influential guitar album. Nothing on there really was groundbreaking.
I agree. Yeah, George Harrison's slide guitar. Does he play slide guitar better than Dwayne Allman? And does Dwayne Allman play slide guitar better than fucking Derek Trucks or fucking...
Well, George Harrison plays slide guitar and tune, and he has his own unique style.
The Chirping Crickets. Look at this. He pulls it out. Look at that
there
Strat.
He goes.
Is that a 57? Hold that up. Let me see that Strat.
Oh, it's nice.
Is it a Strat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he's got a 120. No, what's that? That's
I think it is a 120.
No, it's a 330. That's a 330.
Oh, okay.
And then that's a mid 50s.
Stratocaster.
That's probably a 54 because he had.
Oh yeah, well it also has a single ply guard, so that stopped in 56,
58. But Buddy had a couple, like maybe he had a 54 and a 56, and they got stolen on the road, and then he replaced them with 258s from Manny's, and they had like, I don't know, sequential serial numbers or whatever. But that guitar there got stolen a long time ago.
There's a story that Buddy Holly is the reason why Fender went to Rosewood fingerboards.
Yeah, why was that?
Because Buddy Holly was on TV.
Right.
And Leo Fender got mortified how ugly the neck looked worn out on TV in black and white.
Sure. Probably.
And they were like, we gotta, what does Gibson do? We gotta use Rosewood.
Right.
That's where they started experimenting in 58. By 59, it was Rosewood City.
That's it.
I like maple necks better.
I do too. I like the feel.
Yeah, I don't know about the feel. I just love the way they look.
Yeah.
I don't have anything that has a roasted maple neck, but I'd like to get something like that.
Roasted? But the roasted loses that look because it darkens it a little bit.
Yeah, but I like that.
Okay.
I like how it kind of stabilizes.
I like bird's eye. I like how bird's eye looks.
Ebony is also
Clarence
nice.
Bird's eye.
Yeah.
Ebony what?
I like ebony fretboards.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are the nice ebony's. All my guitars are either ebony or maple. Ebony and okay. Number 21 is the Who live at Leeds.
Okay.
Now Chuck, who isn't here yet, he will be on the show soon. Not tonight, but he's supposed to pick up. He drives a lot for work, so he hasn't been able to pick up his laptop at his house. But he says the Who Live at Leeds is probably the greatest live album of all time. And it's hard to argue because I'm not a huge Who fan, but that record's fucking great.
Yeah, it is a good live album. That's the only Who CD I own. Is Live at Leeds.
Yeah, it's a great record. But is it influential? Probably to a fuckload of people.
You
Number
know,
20 is definitely way more up my alley. It's one of my all-time favorite guitar albums. It's Larry Carlton.
by Larry Carlton.
Yeah. Yeah. Oddly enough,
Larry-
he named the album after himself.
Is that something
And,
like Mary Hartman?
If you haven't heard this record, I suggest going on YouTube and looking up a song called Point It Up and listen to that fucking solo he plays in that song. It is just nuts. Just a great guitar solo from a guy. It just halfway through the solo, you're like, how has he not run out of ideas yet? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
he never does.
No. So what number are we at now?
19.
You just did 20.
19.
Number 19 is Queen, the first album. No.
As an influence, no.
I mean, it's not bad. My
News of the
theory, what is
World.
it?
Or well, there's others.
I think News of the
Shouldn't
World's a
Night
good
at the
album.
Opera
It's
be
a-
up there first?
But influence.
Absolutely.
Influence. You
I
know,
think Queen, let's put it this way, Queen 2 is better than fucking for
yeah.
me, the best
Queen 2's
Queen album, I think, is Sheer Heart Attack with 2 right under its nose. But I think Sheer
Yeah,
Heart
I'd
Attack is
reverse
some of the
that.
best.
That's a
Yeah,
great
no.
fucking song.
But either
But-
way, I can't argue it.
But I mean, like, as far as influential guitar albums from Queen, I would say Sheer Heart Attack out of all the albums. I mean, that is the most in-your-face guitar album out of all of them.
they became Queen on that album, I think.
Yeah.
Is that Keep Yourself
Stone
Alive?
Cold Crazy.
Keep
Hey,
Yourself Alive's the first album.
Oh, that is a good
Stone
track.
Cold Crazy. That
Stone Cold
that's-
Crazy's on that
That's,
record.
that's heavy metal before heavy
Flick
metal.
of the
really.
Wrist.
Right.
Yep.
Killer
I
Queen.
mean, in-your-face guitar. Yep.
But
your
either
favorite
way,
there, now
I mean,
I'm
I just
here.
think the only album that doesn't belong from the 70s
Brighton
honestly,
Rock.
would be the first
Brighton
album.
Rock.
Yeah, Brighton Rock's great.
Rocking.
And speaking of News of the World, they were recording News of the World across the hall from the Sex Pistols, recording Nevermind the Bollocks, and that's number 18. Fantastic record.
I love it. Yes.
I do too.
Mhm.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
My favorite track on that album is Pretty Vacant.
That's a good one.
Oh, I love it. We're so pretty, yeah, we're so pretty. We're vacant. I love Johnny Rotten. I think he's fucking great. Number 17 is Akadaka Back in Black.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Definitely. Influential guitar
Never
album. No
gonna end.
argument.
Never gonna
No fucking argument there.
That should be number one.
It sold more records than any other fucking rock album.
But just, makes you want to play.
So beating out that album is 16 is David Lee Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
I don't understand that. I will say this.
That's a great
I
fucking
think
album.
I said this on Dave's show when we were doing the albums of 86. I like David Lee Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile better than 5150.
Oh fuck! yeah.
It's a more entertaining album. Even
Eat
though
'Em
it's
and
half
Smile
covers.
and Skyscraper are fucking epic.
This must be just like living in paradise. The guitar playing
Eat 'Em
great, the
and
band's
Smile.
great.
Mm.
Yeah, remember the one thing about Eat 'Em
Oh.
and Smile that not a lot of people remember. Eat 'Em and Smile brought Steve Vai to a much broader market.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what?
When that video and the one thing David Lee Roth was genius at, his videos. To this day, you could watch them and laugh your fucking ass off.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know, my doctor says I need to take a laxative. Not in my store, you don't. But holy
No.
shit. When,
Give me
when
a
Steve
jelly
Vai
donut.
starts talking to
And
David Lee Roth with
And a
the
bottle of anything to go.
that's it.
fuck.
Yeah, well, thing is that Steve Vai on that album, I think it's his most coherent playing. I mean, it's like it's like
I
yeah,
don't
he
know
goes
if
off into
coherent-
Wankland
it's
and
his
stuff,
most-
but I mean,
would
like
say
it's a
it's his
guitar
most-
clinic, and it's so varied.
Yeah,
It's
but
like-
it's his most commercial accessible because a lot of times he can get weird.
Yeah,
You know, he goes off in a whole fucking dimension on his own.
that solo on Big Trouble. Oh my God, shit a
Yeah.
brick. That solo is
This
one of
list
his
is so
best solos.
unbelievable. The next
But
one
it
on the
shouldn't
list
be.
is number 15 is Black Sabbath Volume 4.
Why would you put Volume 4 though?
Yeah.
Well, Volume 4 had Supernaut, which was good. And I'm not arguing for Volume 4. I'm just saying what's on it. Supernaut's on it. The heavily guitar song Changes.
Yeah, but I would think you're
Paranoid.
Either Black Sabbath, or Paranoid.
Paranoid over the first one as far as influence.
Yeah, but the first one, there's a whole genre of metal, doom metal from that first one.
Yeah, and everything else was from Paranoid.
What number are we on?
That was number 15.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with the band, not the album selection. But I think that's the whole point of this fucking.
Am I insane, or is there absolutely no Deep Purple on this?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Because
they're there.
Who the fuck ever picked up a guitar without playing Smoke on the Water? It's the first thing
that album
idiot could play.
It's not that album.
No. Okay, so beating out Black Sabbath Volume 4 is Nirvana, Nevermind.
No, Nevermind.
I can't argue with them being on the list, but I don't agree with them being this.
I'm going to say this about Nirvana. I thought he was a fantastic songwriter, and the songs are fucking clever, and they're a great
sense
band.
of melody.
Yeah, and they're a great band. They are the modern day pop band disguised as a grunge band.
Yeah,
they were a great fucking band. That being said, they don't belong on any list that I'm in. No, they're good, but I don't know if they'd be on my list. But I think they have very good songs. They're like the Beatles to me.
Oh, they definitely influenced a ton of bands in the 90s.
Yeah, they did. They did influence a lot of people to pick up the guitar.
Hold on. What about the presidents of the United States of America?
She's lump. She's lump. She's lump. She's in my head.
Going to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
Peaches
That's a great album.
They are post Nirvana.
Yeah. I don't know. They didn't influence anybody, but we enjoy the songs. And I don't think Nirvana. I think Nirvana has a heavy Beatles influence.
Yeah. Well,
it's the melody.
All they did was fucking drop D and fucking make it noisy. I don't know that they.
I mean, if anything, I would put Nirvana unplugged. If you're going to talk guitar influential, because a lot of people picked up an acoustic after seeing, you know.
Now, let me ask you this:
right?
Is Smells Like Teen Spirit when it goes, bah, you know, when it starts anything else, and it does that heavy part?
Yeah.
Is it me, or is that why does that always remind me of Godzilla from Blue Oyster Cult? If I was going to fake how to play that song, I would just play Godzilla and be like. I
thought about it until you pointed it out.
Oh, every time I heard it, I always like, isn't this Godzilla?
Smells like Godzilla.
Yeah, smells exactly.
There's a group that's absent from this list that I think
Blue Oyster Cult,
you know, could be on there. Fuck, Don't
BOC?
Fear the Reaper, right?
Agents of Fortune. That could be an influential album. Shouldn't be on top 50. But
what's your favorite Blue Oyster Cult song?
Oh, Jesus.
For me, it's either Burning for You.
That's a good one.
Or Take Me Away. Go on and take me away. Bow now. Bow now.
I love Veterans of 1,000 Psychic Wars.
That's the greatest. I am the only veteran of 1,000s from heavy metal. Fucking awesome. Yeah.
That drums is a boom, boom, boom.
You're right. That is their best song.
Fuck.
Boom, 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 boom.
You're 100% right.
Rock you with the next
not even close. It's not even close. You're 100% right. That is their best song. I forgot about it till you just sang it.
Oh,
please don't. Oh, I fucking love that tune.
That takes me back. I haven't heard that fucking song in a long time.
Number 13.
Now you gotta listen to it tonight.
Absolutely. I love that whole soundtrack. I thought Cheap Trick's Reach Out and Take It's fantastic.
Is a great album. We should do a list of find the list of best soundtrack rock and roll.
That's a good one. We should come up with our own list of it.
We really should.
We know what the top 2 is going to be.
We know we do.
Yeah, well, we discuss this all the time
What's the
between
other
the two
one?
movies. Well, there's Valley Girl and
I love Valley Girl and Fast Times.
Fast Times.
Yeah, I don't know, but
There's some
yeah,
other
they're
ones.
good. There's some good ones. I think Heavy Metal's up there. All right,
Oh yeah,
because Heavy Metal also has what they have. Reach Out
Sammy.
and Take It. The
Sammy
Mob
Six-
Rule is a mix. That's
Mob
I mean a
Rules.
recording. That's a different recording than the Mob Rules
Sammy
album.
Hagar, Heavy Metal.
Yes.
Heavy
Miller.
Metal and Heavy Metal.
Miller.
Don Felder.
Yeah,
That is I love that song.
Oh, it's fan. Yeah. You can hear Henley singing in the background on that.
And the
which I
best
love.
is that isn't that the song that's playing when they're doing that World War II fighter, that bomber one? And that's all Bernie Wright's and art animated to life is just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie. Shit. Now I
and
wanna
for
watch
some
the
reason,
movie.
Devo was on an album called Heavy Metal, working in a coal mine.
Oh,
yeah, they're on it. They do that in the movie.
Yeah,
Great
exactly.
cover. Great cover.
13 is Dire Straits. Dire Straits. Now,
So
this they picked this album because of Sultans of Swing,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
Well, they finally picked, the influential track,
right.
and they didn't.
But there's also
Brothers in Arms,
the best album, though, in my opinion, of them is Making Movies. Romeo and Juliet, Skate Away is a fucking great song. Yeah, Making Movies. Bendeo just said it. Cheech asked what cigar I'm going to sip. It's the Diesel Whiskey Row Gordo is what I'll be smoking tonight after the show. So the Dire Straits, they're good. I don't know. I mean, everyone, when I was a kid, everyone had to learn that fucking solo. Everyone did. Why? Number 12 is Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien.
Can't argue with the influence. Can't argue with the influence.
That's one of my all-time favorite albums.
Now, I'm going to
That's
say
his
this.
best
You
album.
guys know I don't care for him. I don't listen to the music. I am familiar with the album, but I could totally see this being on a list of 50. Totally, because he influenced a generation.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I could see, well, we'll get to it. Number 11 is the dumbest one I've seen so far. It's the Rolling Stones, which is their first record from like 64. What's like A Time Is on My Side? I mean, can we seriously think about what Sticky Fingers would be
guitar
a
album.
Stones influence record? Sticky Fingers has it all. You know what I mean? It's like it's not even close.
And
We're
it's
gonna
definitely more guitar oriented.
or arguably Some Girls.
well, Some Girls I think is the best album.
Yeah,
My favorite.
But if you
But I think Sticky Fingers, when you think of the cliche Keith stuff, you got Sway, you got Brown Sugar, you got what's the Dead Flowers. So you got the country thing going there. You got Moonlight Mile. I mean, that fucking record's awesome. But it's not as good as Some Girls, don't get me wrong. And I don't think it's as good as Emotional Rescue. All right, Stones fans, start hating. All right. Number 10 is Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Definitely influential.
Yeah.
I think Country
love
Honk
that
is on the album before that, Let It Bleed. Not on no, System Morphine is on the record and the other blues song, but not it's on Let It Bleed.
What, Sweet Virginia?
No, Country Honk.
No,
Sweet Virginia's on that's on the double album there, Exile on Main Street.
Exile. Another influential record, but
Yeah. And a much more important album than the Rolling Stones' first album.
it's just silly,
A Guns N' Roses Appetite is another one where I understand it. I just don't like it. I think Use Your Illusion 2 is a better album. I love that album.
But influence is the criteria.
That's right. That's the criteria. That's why I'm saying I can't.
Here we go. This is like the influence by the, influenced, right? This is like synthesis of influence.
Right.
Record, right?
Yeah.
So, as Krellbot points out, Aerosmith, and then somebody else, Rolling Stones. I kind of side with him more, Aerosmith, with the Guns N' Roses kind of
Well, I said Zeppelin.
Yeah, but I side more with him. You know, just because the format.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not looking. I'm not
the
looking to build
funkier type of things, Danny.
Yeah. I'm not looking to build a team here. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I don't.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I was making a statement. When I think about, I mean, again, I'm not a big fan, but I am a big fan of Aerosmith and Zepp. But, yeah.
I just thought it was an interesting, my observation, the encapsulation of, influence gone wild, for lack of
Well, I definitely think the singer there, Axl, was trying more to be like Steven Tyler.
Yeah, but
I see it.
Said he's been influenced by Queen, was like his favorite fucking band or something.
Who?
Axl. He said that like 25.
And he said Elton John too.
Oh yeah, excellent. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So like really?
And George Michael. Apparently, we don't know how many pianos Axl Rose owns.
There we go.
We know he had organs up the ass. All right, number 9, folks. The Shadows. The guitar
Hank
wizardry of Hank Marvin. Exactly.
He influenced the whole slew of guitar players.
Apache?
Yeah, Apache. Who was the singer in that band?
Cliff Richard.
Thank you.
But guess what? He knows singing Apache. Their biggest number. Yeah. It's an instrumental.
No, but Cliff Richard was the one that brought over the first Stratocaster to England.
Yeah.
And gave it to Hank Marvin.
Yeah, Shadows was the backup band for Cliff Richard, and then they started putting out instrumental albums.
Okay, but
look at this! I've been fucking.
It's another Gene Vincent. Another Gene Vincent. Thin influence.
Well,
I love him.
Influence. Wow, I mean, like a lot of people cite.
So this is going to piss off Joe.
No, I'm just saying, like to Dave's point, like it's like fucking
Mark Knopfler does too.
60 years later, and
this
I think more heavily British influenced guys with Hank Marvin.
What's going to piss me off?
But Hank's cool.
Number 8 is Deep Purple, the album In Rock.
What the fuck is that? No Machine Head.
What's In Rock? Child in Time.
That's a great song, but
compared to Machine Head's the album that turned everyone's head. Highway Star, fucking.
I can even see if they would have made it live in Japan or what was it called? Made in Japan. I could see if they would have said that. That was known as one of the greatest live albums ever for the longest time.
I actually like the version of Smoke on the Water on that album better because I like that intro when he goes bam, 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 bam.
I always play it like that, and I didn't know I was playing the live version till a friend goes, "Oh, that's cool, man. You're doing Made in Japan." I'm like, "What?"
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That is great.
Yeah, I do too. So number 7 is Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love.
His influential guitar album.
Yeah, like I said, I thought that was way more influential than the album they said. The what was that? Electric Ladyland, which I think I don't know what the hell they were thinking. So, but that Hendrix album, Bold as Love, I'm going to say it would be in my top 10. Number 6 is Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow.
No.
I would replace that with Larry Carlton.
I like songs on that. Diamond Dust is a great tune on there.
Yeah. I mean, there's some Constipated Duck. There's some songs.
Yeah.
I hated She's a Woman, the
Scatterbrain.
Scatterbrain, yeah. And of course, the fucking Big Freeway Jam. Number 5 is an album that always pisses me off. It just makes me angry.
Yeah.
John Mayall Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton.
But didn't it influence a lot of people, though?
It influenced people to throw out that album. It influenced me to toss up my lunch. Who the fuck? I mean, come on. Yeah, it's a. You know, I got to tell you, a couple of years ago,
chase him in the woods with a shotgun.
A couple of years ago, I'm playing at an open jam, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, and he's a good guy, and I'm friends with him. He's like, "Hey, Dave, will you come up and play with me?" You know who I'm talking about, Joe Motti.
Yeah,
Jerry.
Yeah.
So Joe Motti says, "Will you come up and play with me?" I said, "Sure. What are we going to do?" He goes, "I want to do You Don't Love Me from Super Sessions." I'm like, I don't fucking know this song. I don't know it, but I'll follow you. I'll do it. So we get up there, we do it. As soon as he tells me what the riff is, I'm like, oh, I know this song. It's an Allman Brothers tune. He's like, the Super Sessions are the better one. So then he's like, afterwards, he's talking to me. He's like, you got to listen to Super Sessions. It's a great record. I went back and listened to the Super Sessions album. And the whole time I'm thinking, how am I going to kill Joe Marty?
Strip him naked and chase him in the woods with a shotgun.
I'm thinking to myself, this was probably a good album if you grew up back then and there was nothing else around. But going back in time and go listen to it, it doesn't hold up. It's not great. I'm sorry. If there are any Super Sessions fans, let the hate begin. I wasn't digging it. And so I always hated that. And the same with everyone's like, oh man, Clapton. If you like Clapton and Cream, you got to hear him in Blues Breakers. Really? Because I think that band sucks. It's just blues. I just don't like it. But stop putting it at the top. It's like there's no thought to the songs. Stop putting it at the top of every fucking list. Clapton did some better stuff than this. I just don't see it. In fact, the album that beats out John Mayall's Blues Breakers is Cream, Disraeli Gears.
That's a great
Now, which album was that? The what songs were on that?
It's the big one. It's had
It's the big one.
I think it had
Room?
White Room.
Yeah.
So great music, but
It's,
I mean, like influence.
What's
It was
the
a
other
super group got together. I don't think it influenced.
In my opinion, Clapton gets far too much credit for how good Cream is. And Jack Bruce gets very little credit for how good Cream is. And it should be the opposite.
Right.
To me, Jack Bruce was
the rhythm section was
it's that voice. Tiny purple fishes run laughing through your fingers, and you want to. When you hear "Tales of Brave Ulysses," you hear his voice. Or "Strange Woman Like a Bearded Rainbow," whatever that song's called. Come to me in the. Oh, she walks like a bearded rainbow.
Yeah.
He goes, "Come to me in the morning," but the rainbow had a mustache.
Yeah.
That song is so absolutely genius. It's fucking great. And then when you hear "Sunshine of Your Love," it's getting near dawn, right? His voice is powerful. Then Clapton goes, "I'll soon be with you, my love." Who let the little guy in here? Who's got the mousy voice? Why are you singing?
Politician.
Well, Eric's the big name in the band.
You know what's some great shit?
It's a great one too. Politician.
When Jack Bruce got together with Leslie West, some of that is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah,
Jack
theme
Bruce
from
also
Imaginary
played with
Western.
He also played with Zapper on Apostrophe. It's the bass player on that. Yep. But yeah, I think Clapton, and I got to say this, the John Mayall record with Peter Green is just as good as the Clapton shit. And I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's just as good as the Clapton shit. But they don't give him any credit. I watched this guy the other day do this thing about Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and he's making a big deal that John McVie didn't join the band, and he was like, like he didn't know that the band was named after Mick Fleetwood and John McVie. I'm watching going, this guy, what kind of research did, and he, like a high production video. Yeah, I love Jack Bruce. So let's, number 3, in my opinion, belongs at number 1 or 2. And when it belongs at number 2, it's because another album by the same band should be number 1. And they should be number 3, in my opinion. They should be 1, 2, and 3, the band Led Zeppelin. But Led Zeppelin 2 is number 3. It's a great album.
Yep.
Zeppelin 4 should be up there. Physical Graffiti should be up there on that list. Physical should be number 1.
I was watching an interview with Page, and he's saying, like, the music reviewers and stuff. He goes, they had no idea what we were doing. We would put out an album and they would do a 1-paragraph review and pan it. And he's talking about Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what we know now? And you're looking back, if you can go back in time, slap that fucking reviewer so hard up the head.
Oh, these people were ridiculous.
Oh,
but think about the reason why I think Physical should be up there is because when that Godzilla movie came out, it brought a whole generation of kids to Kashmir. Well, because they mix Kashmir with the rap for the
Godzilla
film.
98.
But anytime if I have a student and I stop playing Kashmir, they're like, "Oh, you got to teach me that." Like yeah, Zeppelin 4-2 is should be number 1 in my opinion. But let's get to number 2 because number 2 is probably accurate for this band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Van Halen, Van Halen.
Yeah, talk about.
And I would say it was definitely the
redefining.
most influential, mainly because of Eruption. Van Halen 2 had Spanish Fly, and that sold many nylon string guitars. I'm joking. So yeah, ukulele or mandolin there, Ed. There's a difference. Ukulele's tuned like a guitar's bottom 4 strings, and a mandolin's tuned in fifths. And mandolin has 8 strings, and a ukulele has 4. And it wasn't a ukulele. All right, so number 1, Jimi Hendrix. Are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? I have.
That when that came out, it was his
Not
first album,
necessarily Stone,
and everyone
but
tried to emulate him immediately like that. And there was a whole slew of guitar players getting their fuzz boxes, trying to be like Hendrix.
Who?
Townsend. Hey,
Well, yeah, but they saw him before that record came out. Those guys went to, because he was all the buzz in London. They went to see him, and I think it was him, Jeff Beck, and Page, or something. I forget who the other person, Clapton. And they all went in there, and they were like,
and when they were seeing him, you see some early videos of him. He really wasn't using the fuzz box that much. He was just cranking up a Marshall and stuff. And it was like, and that's what he was basically playing when they were going to see him. I mean, when he recorded Our Experience, that changed. He was using fuzzes and stuff. And that's when he went off into there was that transition from him being that funk guitar player.
Yeah, I just don't think that, even though Hendrix influenced a lot of people of that day, I mean, he's still influenced. I mean, you know what? That's the problem. I have a problem with Hendrix because I'm not a big fan of you jump out in front. I don't like his voice. I don't think the songs are that great.
The Fat Albert kids sing.
But I love his fucking playing when he does like One Rainy Wish. That's a golden rose, the color of a dream I had. His mellow, somewhat soulful stuff, Bold as Love, Castles Made of Sand. It's fucking gorgeous.
Castles Made of Sand is fucking beautiful.
Just gorgeous guitar playing that was so fresh back then. Now, there are other guys, obviously, who did that stuff, like when Richie Blackmore came out with Blackmore's Rainbow, and they did Catch the Rainbow, and it's almost that Hendrixy. You know, everyone tried copying, and I always thought did a better job than Jimmy did. When Stevie Ray Vaughan did Little Wing. But hey, Donnie, what's happening? But I think in general, I do have to tip my hat that he was probably very influential. I just don't think he was as influential as Jimmy Page. And I say that because if you look at total album sales of the whole Hendrix thing, he's probably somewhere around 50 million records. Zeppelin 4 sold, Zeppelin as a band sold 400 million worldwide.
Yeah, but that was more because of the songwriting than anything. I mean, it's like it wasn't. Well, on sheer guitar playing,
the point is, how do you get stuff into people's hands? If you're going to say something's influential, the most influential has to at least land in the most hands, does it not?
Not necessarily.
No, of course.
No, you hear the music and it makes you pick up a guitar. That's influential.
Yeah, but
all right. So, do you ever see the comments that Judd?
Do
you ever see the comments Judd Lufthouse puts on my channel on our show? He hates Van Halen. He says he wasn't very big in England. They don't care for him in England. Why do we say he's so important? He thinks he sucks.
Who's his most influential?
But I'm just saying that argues your point. That's your point. And I'm saying he's been a lot more fucking hands than Paul Weller. And I made that point to him. It would be like me saying, because nobody knows in the States who Paul Weller is, He's not a very well-known name. I think he's a fucking great songwriter. I love the Jam. I love the Style Council. I love him solo, but people don't know him. But I don't discount him because people don't know him. I'm like, I think he's a rare gem. In England, he's big or bigger, well-known.
Right.
But I'm saying Zeppelin's well-known everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Hendrix had that kind of, and so you're not landing. So like if you say to me, well, I know 400,000 kids that listen to fucking Whole Lot of Love this year, and 10,000 kids who listen to fucking Foxy Lady. Hold on. Yeah. Anyways,
I don't think any American band has any longevity in England because they kind of snooty with
about,
that or influence stuff. It's like yeah.
It's Dave's mom yelling at him.
It's like they are. What is that? Artie Fufkin? Ah!
Sorry, what happened?
We just made a cultural reference. It was hilarious. Yes.
Anyway,
no, it's Rupert Pupkin.
Yeah,
Rupert Pupkin.
Oh,
yeah, Artie Fufkin was from Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
That was Schaefer. Yeah.
Oh, that's begging for a remake. Spinal Tap.
Kick my ass.
Come
Kick
on.
my ass. Kick this ass.
Nazareth. Yeah, Manny Charlton. Oh, you know who else was a huge Nazareth fan? Was Slash. Because when Guns N' Roses got signed, that's who they wanted to produce the album. Manny Charlton. And there's a great interview with Manny on YouTube talking about him meeting the guys in the band. They were going to start recording, and then something happened. And they ended up getting.
Was Mike Clink the producer of that? Appetite.
I don't know who the producer was. I don't know the album that well.
I think it was Mike Clink.
But meanwhile, I'm just saying, someone that influenced, like when you got a band like Zeppelin, it's hard to sit there. Like I'd say, who influenced more guitar players? Jimmy Page or Eddie Van Halen?
Oh, Christ.
I don't even think it's close.
Page.
Because Page sold 400 million records.
And he also has a 10-year head start, and he's got way more airplay than those guys.
What do you mean a 10-year head start?
He started making records in like 1968, 69. Eddie started making
records. I'm just talking about the Zeppelin. Let's put it this way. Zeppelin or Van Halen? Zeppelin lasted a lot shorter than Van Halen, but Zeppelin reached a lot more. They got a lot more asses in the seats.
Yeah, and I think,
and to me, that's the number.
They have more airplay.
But you know, but the thing also,
I don't think Van Halen had a guitar. I don't think they had a platinum album till Sammy.
You have to give it to Zeppelin just for how they evolved. With every album was just, amazing.
Well, at this point now, we're still talking about influential guitar albums, or we just talking about influential albums?
Influential to guitar players.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Van Halen, it's not that cut and dry. I mean, like, look at the whole 80s is because of him. The
whole 70s is
but Jimmy Page.
I hate to just pigeonhole Mr. Van Halen, but he kind of, the flash guitar, for lack of a better term, he was an executive example of that. But Page wrote anthems, rock classics.
I'm not arguing that.
But you know what?
But we're talking about most influential guitar albums, so we're not really talking about the songwriting and stuff.
If
you are, that's part of the play. That's the mistake that I think a lot of people make. Go learn Physical Graffiti, the disc 2, and you have to tune your guitar to all these different tunings, and you see what he does to play. That's a whole different level of guitar playing.
Yeah, but
we're not just talking about running up and down scales, because running up and down scales that's fucking boring. That to me, that's part of it, but it's not everything. the whole thing about Jimmy Page is you listen to a song in a C6 tuning that he's playing, Friends or Bronniar, and then you listen to Dadgad tunings with Kashmir, and you listen to
How many people
the
did he
Rain-
influence to use alternate tunings, though?
I don't know, Soundgarden. How many songs? Anyone that used alternate tunings was like listening to Zeppelin. The whole Drop D thing.
Yeah.
You know, but think about what you started the show with, saying that it's not a trick, it's a technique. What Eddie did was a technique. If that kind of came and went and stayed in one decade, you don't see anyone doing it now. But the stuff Page did on guitar, you still see.
You hear it.
You know, and not only that, there's
go learn a Sonic Youth record. What does that mean?
It's songwriting, you know.
Those are alternate tuning, but they're whacked out.
Hanoi, what's the dumb argument?
More.
It's a dumb argument what he's saying, because Sonic Youth sold shit. And we're talking about a band that fucking shaped a generation doing alternate tunings in songs that most people, when they first started playing guitar, never played the fucking songs right because they used the alternate tunings.
Yeah.
But you bring up a band that didn't sell dick, and you're like, this is my argument, dumb argument. No, that's a stupid argument.
Right.
That's a retarded argument.
His only thing is they did alternate tunings. They did.
There's a ton of bands that do alternate tunings, but they didn't influence anybody because they weren't good.
Oh, they're awful, dude.
Sonic Youth's awful. But my point was,
cool thing.
Most people didn't know that Zeppelin was using alternate tunings. When you hear 10 Years Gone, most people don't play it in drop D, but it's played in drop D. A lot of people don't realize Going to California is in double drop D. But there's certain techniques that you need to play to get exactly what he played to play. And when you sit there and see the creativity that's involved in his songs, and they're beautiful songs.
Yeah.
It's not like we're talking about garbage songs where someone's just whacked out of tune. You know, Van Halen used odd tunings on Top Jimmy was odd tuned. That's an alternate tuning. It's a great fucking song. It's one of my favorites by him. That's my whole point. Oh.
Okay. We get it, Dave.
No, he's saying he didn't realize that he used alternate tunings. I'm like, that's your point. That's the point. If you dug in deeper and started going into the stuff, you would figure it out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Neil Young blows.
Yeah, Eric, I think he may have done drop D, but
and first of all, everybody knows where Page got his tunings. He didn't create them. Well, some he did, but Bert Jansch was the one who did the Dadgad shit. And so there's definitely stuff. I'm not saying he's fucking original. What I'm saying is he's ultra creative because he used those tunings and wrote brilliant songs. And if you sit there and say, here's a guy that sold 400 fucking million records, you got to give the guy some fucking credit that he's probably influenced a lot of players. That's my point.
Hey, Donnie's in here. Let's go, Donnie.
Yeah, I saw Donnie. Let's put it this way. Steve Vai, do you think he's a better player than Eddie Van Halen?
Yes.
But wait.
I don't, but you do. That's good.
A technical player, yes, but as far as like being musical and like having great rhythm and I give it to Eddie. Eddie's the better rhythm player. That's for sure. And he's definitely got a better type of rhythm.
Who do you think? Paul Gilbert.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Obviously a better player than all the Shredder guys.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Was he more influential than Jimmy Page?
No.
I know. I'm not asking you. I'm asking Krillbar.
No, he's not.
Right. Why?
Because he came along when Shred was already there. It's just that Paul Gilbert did it better than everyone, and then he just evolved into something totally different. It's like
the other thing is also because he didn't get. He's not in every fucking home, and he's not a household name.
Yeah.
Page was like when I was a kid, Page was everywhere. And so was Eddie. But Zeppelin was like the monolith. It was like the fucking They just
Well, I think Van Halen got really popular because of Eddie's playing more than the songs. And the
maybe.
songs got them in the mainstream, but I think Page, it was the
Yeah, but
whole
that's
package with Led
that's an
Zeppelin.
okay, but that's
Yeah.
an opinion. But what's not
Mhm.
an opinion is before Sammy Hagar got in the band, those albums weren't platinum.
Yeah. I mean, is being platinum a requirement here?
Yes.
Yeah, well, being platinum is at least it's a measure of how many homes you're in.
Well,
We're
let's get
talking
back to the.
influential.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about being an influence. The influence is
Correct.
what
Yeah.
influence. You got to
Yeah.
go out and buy the album,
Yeah. Yeah. You can't just get it at the fucking library.
and you're not
free.
going to just listen to it on the radio because
You know.
if it's influencing you.
Well, aren't there
Think of it-
some that we just agreed that should be on the list that doesn't even approach that?
Like what?
It's like how many albums did the Sex Pistols sell? Oh, never mind the Bollocks. I know it sold a lot, but it's like
Well, first of all, they only sold one album.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's probably like fucking 8 million after 50 years, versus Zeppelin 4 is 50 million after 50 years. It's probably not even that many.
yeah, I'm trying to see what it says it sold.
1,747,000 in 6 countries. Sold best in the United States with 1 million. So 1.7 million it sold. That's it. So I mean, how many hands is that in? But we all agreed that it was an influential album.
Yeah, but we agreed it was
guitar
like
album.
30th one or whatever the fuck.
Right, but we're not.
Yeah,
right,
but
we're
it's
not
still on the
arguing the
list.
fact that
Now we're
Steve
getting-
Jones is more influenced than Eddie Van Halen, and we're not.
No.
saying that's-
What I'm saying is that your rationale for comparing Led Zeppelin and Eddie Van
They're two of the tops.
Halen, the rationale that you're trying to go between them you don't apply that to the rest of the list. I mean,
Of
like you're
course, I'm
saying,
applying it
it's
to the list. I don't have the Sex Pistols on my fucking list. It's on
Okay.
their list, not my list.
Oh, I thought you had agreed that it should be on
I
this.
say
list
it's a
in the
great
top 50.
fucking album. I don't
Yeah.
think that it's an influential guitar album. I don't think Steve Jones to me deserves to be on the fucking. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we talking about here? But you're looking at their list and saying what I think. I don't think they.
Okay,
I'll tell you
I
right
thought-
now, 90% of this list would be gone if it was
Yeah.
my list.
I thought when we had reached that, I thought something was said that was influential. I didn't hear anyone say it shouldn't be on the list. So,
Well, it's not on my list. I'm saying
Yeah.
we're talking about this list, and I said, well, these certain things shouldn't be here. I love the record. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I think some people who are into punk might be like, it's the Godfather album of punk. I think to me, it's the only true punk album. I think most of the other shit is punk pop. I think the Clash was a pop band. I don't really consider that punk. I think the Sex Pistols were the only punk band. I'm going on record. I'm just saying that I think that when we're talking about two super successful guitar players like Page and Van Halen, I think to me it just makes more sense that the guy who outsold the other guy 10 times probably would be in more hands.
It was more of the entire band. I mean, the band got popular and the guitar player got popular because he was in the. Well, Page is a great guitar player. With Van
David Lee
Halen,
Roth
when
wasn't popular.
when they got
You just told me it was
introduced,
your favorite album of '86. You
When-
liked it
when
better
they-
than Van Halen's
when they-
album. You like the singer that you're now saying the band is just Van Halen. But when you 1986, when you said the Van Halen
I like
came out
better
with
than
his
the
album,
Sammy Hagar. Yeah, I like it better than
no.
the Sammy Hagar one.
right? So you like the singer better than Eddie playing with Hagar. So it's not. What my point is you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You liked Van Halen; they were a great band. It's not just Eddie. I think it's a bullshit argument.
What I'm getting at right now is that when Van Halen hit, right? Tell me that it's because they got popular because the
when
songs
they
were
hit, I was
good.
10.
The songs were good and like it got into people's hands, yes, but when it got into people's hands, they're not going, oh, that David Lee Roth, that Michael Anthony, that Al. No, the focus was Eddie. When that hit, it was Eddie. All the magazines
you were 10
were
years
Eddie.
old.
Yeah.
When I was 10 years old, I remember Jamie's crying. I never thought to myself, listen to that guitar player. I used to sit and go, I'm not thinking about guitar. I was 10 years old. I like the
All I
band.
know is
I don't know what.
I heard Eruption and I shit a brick. And for years,
That
I
you need to
didn't
see a
know how he
doctor
could
for.
play that.
No, I understand the wow factor of Eruption.
Yeah.
But I think to disparage the band and say, well, it was all Eddie, because I disagree. I think the band was fucking great. I thought Alex was a great
let me just put it
drummer.
this way. I mean, it was more so with that than it was with Led Zeppelin, because it's like when Led Zeppelin hit, it was just this unit where they were all great players and they just came together, just made this great
You know
music.
what's
And Page
great?
got notoriety for
But I
his
thought
work.
Van
in Led
Halen was
Zeppelin.
that.
Yeah, but you know
Other than Michael Anthony, because I think Michael Anthony was a little quiet, but I loved his background singing. I thought that band came out as a unit and was fucking great. And they had a flashy guitar player, but the band was great. Lee Roth to me was the Toastmaster General. I mean, he was the party leader. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna say anything, but I gotta put Mikey to bed, and I'm about to drop dead too. So
Oh, it's late.
Holy crap, that was a quick 2 hours, 2 hours, 20 minutes.
yeah.
Time flies when you're going through these fucking lists.
Oh God. Yep.
Great argument.
Always fun. Joe.
But you know what? Let me just say one thing.
Go ahead.
You bring up album sales a lot, and that used to be a good metric, but now you got to look at the monthly streams. Like I looked on while you guys were arguing on just Spotify. Zeppelin's got 16 million monthly streams. Van Halen's got about 11. You know, Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven is closing in on 1 billion streams. You know, you look at something like Sex Pistols, their top song, God Save the Queen, has 76 million streams. So you get a really more accurate who's listening, because it's not one motherfucker out there listening 76 million times.
Right. No, I agree. I agree.
That's really, no one.
But what I'm saying is the sale.
Right now,
and you're looking at a metric, and that's what I'm saying is, and I'm just using the album sales from when it came out as a metric, just to say it's hard to argue when that many people have the album.
And I'm arguing with you, as I'm saying that, but
I agree.
Even today's metric supports what you're saying. Is I love Eddie Van Halen. He's fucking amazing. He's a juggernaut, but you still got to put Page up there a little bit higher, and even the streams do that. You know, when the monthly streams will show that.
Yeah. I mean, little kids today, right now, when they're playing guitar, and there's one that I'm thinking of in mind.
Well, now we're talking about the individual guitar player. That's like, it's like, it's a different argument. Because we were talking about influential guitar albums before, and I was trying to compare, like, the Led Zeppelin part of that to the first.
Well, Zeppelin 2. Zeppelin 2 had, a whole lot of love. What Is and What Should Never Be, the Lemon Song, Heartbreaker, Live and Love and Made, Thank You. I mean, it was a monster guitar record. But great solos in it. The Heartbreaker solo for that time, everyone.
We agreed. I believe we all agreed that Satriani belonged on this list for being an influence. I mean, are they that stellar of songs comparison to a lot of stuff?
If he was on, I said I can't argue that he was on that list. Yeah. He would not be on my list. He would not make the top 100. But that's just
no question his influence, though. The album's influence.
No question in someone else's list, like this compiled list. I'm not going to argue it because I can understand that people really take a shine to him. I don't, and I just don't.
Again, we're only talking about influence. I mean, you don't necessarily have to actually like the band to say they were an influence.
Not at all. Not at all.
My Metallica.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think that there was an influence. I don't think it should be on top 50, but.
What's that?
Master of Puppets. I don't think it's the top 50, but it definitely was an influence.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is everyone puts their own personal thing to it. Like, is it an influence to you? It wasn't to me, but I could see it was an influence to a lot of guys growing up at that time. Because 86, when that album came out, man, I was so over Metallica. And I think Maiden came out with Somewhere in Time, and Queensryche came out with Rage for Order. And that's those two albums are the ones I listened to.
I listened to those as well. Yeah.
In metal. And then I was listening to David Sylvian's Gone to Earth.
But I tell you, Master of Puppets, when that came out, that hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, and I liked Ride the Lightning and stuff, but there was something different about friggin' Master of Puppets.
Yeah, it's a different album. That's why it's called Master of Puppets.
It was definitely more in your face, and the riffage. The riffage was a little more technical, for lack of a bad term.
Yeah, Cheech, I agree. I thought that album sounded like the amplifier. Actually, that might be the first one that the amps weren't sounding horrible. Actually, the first album sounds pretty good on Seek and Destroy. That intro, it hits you like a tunnel. You gotta crank it. It's great. All right, guys, let's call this an evening. It's almost 10:30, and I have a cigar to smoke. And
priorities.
I've already listened to Van Halen, 2 albums from Van Halen. Now I'm going to listen to Zeppelin tomorrow.
Everyone listen to Veteran of 1,000 Psychic Wars.
Oh, I got to listen to that tonight.
I think I'll listen to that on YouTube, laying down, put it on TV.
Oh,
I haven't heard that in years.
God. That's Eric Bloom singing that, isn't it?
Probably.
I am the.
I think the last time I heard it was the 80s. Listened to on that friggin' record. Heavy metal.
I listen to heavy metal quite a bit. I love Reach Out and Take It. I love there's a couple of other songs in there I really like. I'm blanking on them. Does Cheap Trick have 2 songs on that record?
No. But let's see. There was Riggs did that.
Oh, Riggs, yeah.
Song,
what was that song called?
It's were they the ones that did Radar Rider, or was that Trust? There was Trust in Riggs.
It had a song on it. Riggs did Heartbeat.
Okay.
Oh, Radar Rider was them too.
Radar.
Black Sabbath, Small Rules. Oh yeah, I Must Be Dreaming. That was the other Cheap Trick song. I Must Be Dreaming. Queen Bee from fucking Grand Funk. Donald Fagen's True Companion. That's a great tune.
Yeah.
All right, very good, guys. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Let's call it an evening before.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
What's that, Joe? Is that Psychic Wars?
That's better, but it's a live. It's a live one.
Oh,
all right. Great live clip. Good night, everybody.
All right, everyone. Let's see.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, John Boy. Very good. Peace. So I'm out of here.
You're saying throw this out?
Goodbye, Ted.
Toss it. Toss it. All right. Very good, everyone.
All right. Very good.
Okay. Goodbye, Ted.